so I hope you won't miss the shows on Hochanda with Stamps Away.
Yes, good morning. Rise and shine. It's 7 o'clock. Morning, Lou, I can see you. It's 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday morning, and have we got a treat for you? I know, and Lou Withers, and well, I'll introduce her properly in a minute, do not worry, has been posting about this for the last 2 days. I've seen her posts out there. We have got stuff on this show that we've had before that sell out like that. So in theory, it's the early bird that catches the worm with this show. We have got the watercolour palettes are back at a happy hour price. They're further down the counter. It's going to take me a while to get them. I would shop ahead for them if I was you, because they are absolutely stunning. But let's introduce the lady herself. Here she is. I don't know who she's talking to that's there, but someone's there. It is the representative, you could say, the brand ambassador, the one and only of Studio Lights. It's Ali with us. How are you, my love? Good morning.
Good morning. The other half directing, you know, he's trying to tell me that I need to turn this up and that down. And...
Oh, bless him. Are you well, though, first of all? Forget everything else. Are you well?
Yeah, we're doing well. It's a bit crazy, the weather. It was like snowing yesterday, and now it's all gone. And it's like, you wake up and you don't know what you're going to get the next day.
I love it. Right then, let's go. Lou, this is one of these shows, isn't it? This is a happy hour show, so we've got happy hour prices. Shop ahead on this. Everything that's on here is, I would say personally, is a must.
It is. I mean, I was planning all the demos I could do, but I just thought it'd be far easier if we sort of went down the counter together and then I just did a bit of everything for you, because I think some of these you really need to see them, you know, to anger appeal sort of thing. Doesn't always do the best, but I could do something with all of them, so I thought, but I'll do whatever you'd like me to do.
Oh, a little dance, please, if you don't mind. Right then, we are very busy already this morning. You are shopping ahead of me, which I absolutely adore. Right, and let's kick straight off. Stencils. We are talking stencils this morning. Let me move the tablet. Everyone's saying morning, Lou, on the tablet as well. We are talking 4 stencils. You're getting all 4 of the grunge stencils that we're looking at the moment for £11.99. Now, I'm guessing there's extended delivery on everything on my counter this morning, which would be the 17th of February, so just next week, not long to wait whatsoever. Yeah. 177532 is your item number. Now, if you're stocking up because you missed out the first time round with these, this is a good chance to get them. If you've never seen them before, remember a stencil has got so many options. You can ink through it, you can run it through your cutting machines and emboss with stencils as well. Lou, these are a shape. These are more than just a stencil, though, aren't they? Even the shape that they've done the stencil in can be used to give you more detail.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an onion shape, but it's got that wonderful shape to the top of it. But each one of these it's sort of grungy, but if you use the right colours, it's not grungy at all. I have these sort of on a hook with the others all the time. They're just so handy, really are.
You get the hooks included. Every single one comes with its own ring round as well, so you can bind them all together, which means, in theory, if you bind them all together, you're still going to have 3 leftover hooks to create books and journals and things like that. You really can't go wrong with these. And you're getting a full collection, which I like as well. You're not buying them individually. You're going for all of them for £11.99 for a £4 saving. 177532 is your item number. So there are stencils. Now we've got some stamps on the show as well, which are absolutely beautiful. They really, really are. If I swing those open, then you can see how big those fleur-de-lis are in the middle. These are absolutely stunning, Lou. Look at that. I'm seeing that on the front of an envelope or the corner of a letter, done in gold or silver. There's something very ornate about this collection that I like.
Yeah, they're quite fine, and you don't really notice until you stamp them how fine they are. I love the style of this alphabet because it's like the old typewriter key, and it's got the numbers with it and your doofers at the end or whatever they are. You know what a doofer is, don't you?
Yeah,
Them things
these
at
bits
bottom.
here.
Yeah, them doofers there. So you've got them, and that actually shows you how big it is with your hand, and because they're not small, they're not like teeny weeny things, you know. So it can be, and you can use it with all your other alphabet as well. So if you've got different fonts and stuff, these are amazing backgrounds. I use these to create some stitching and embroidery, and they look stunning, absolutely stunning. Some people who know what I'm talking about, some French knots and some little embroidery beads and stuff, they look brilliant.
They really would. And was also, there's sort of like 2-in-1 for the sheer fact, the one at the bottom, the one down here, when I see two different things. I'm seeing flowers in there. So if you're going to go in with your, as Lou said, your French knots and your straight stitches and your stem stitches and things like that, would look beautiful. But then I'm also seeing fireworks, doing them bright colours and doing them with your backgrounds that you've got. Your stitches that run down the side, absolutely beautiful to give you that faux leather stitch look. The music that's in there. We all love a paint splatter. Should you go wrong on a card, what do? Throw in a paint splatter. They're good just to have. The small circles as well. Just using smaller elements of all these. As Lou said as well, the typewriter sort of font that you get there, very, there's something about this font that it never dates. It's undateable.
No. Never. It's just going to be so useful with all your other ones as well, because it'll go with most styles, with it being a simple but clean font. Those swirls are so useful, as you said, on the end, at just the end of an envelope or anything. It's gone from an envelope to something really special then.
Yes, I adore them. 299,794 is your item number, £14.97. We're busy for those as well. Something else that we're also busy for, so you're really shopping ahead, I'm loving this morning, are the Blooming Collection. Now, this is a 2-for-1. The way I see it, you're getting 60 stamps for just shy of £20, £19.96. You're saving £12 on these, but you're getting positives and negatives. So if you're like me and just learning to colour, this is the easiest thing to do, because you get your outer edge, which is here. So you do this in your black, maybe, or do it in your fine grey, but then you go in with your colours with these, so stamp them out in different colours, and then you're already halfway there. Lou, am I right in saying that, like the positives and the negatives? So if you're just starting out, especially if you're getting the watercolours that are on the show, that I've got my eye on, is it a case of you can do going with grey with your outer edge and then going with your colours with the fuller edge, and it looks like you've done watercolours?
Yeah, and it's a great way for doing like the 1970s prints where it's just off centre. So, but these, you get positive and negative. These are some of my best, most used and most favourite flower stamps, because they're just so adaptable. And I like the fact that you don't have to do both. You can do one or the other, or do both. And I really like this idea of having slightly darker outline, but not black. But you can use black. But I love this. This is most played with this. I have this on my desk as well. Got a big desk, me.
I bet you have, with all the stuff that you need. I bet there's everything. I'd love to come live from Lou's desk. Oh, imagine. £19.96. As I said, 60 stamps is what you're getting. Use them together, use them individually. Just doing shadows. Maybe you just want that little drop shadow. On a card as well, creating backgrounds. Really look into your stamps and get value for money out of them. This is not just a case of stamp with one, fill in the colour with another, then you're done, bish bosh done. No, really start looking into them now. So using these for backgrounds, the leaves that you've got in there, stamp them out in a really light grey, then go over the top with your other colours that you've got. But you've only got 51 minutes and 15 seconds before the price will go back up to £31.96. I think it's moving closer. Let's move it slightly away. Right, let's move on, shall we? Come on, you. We've got rub-ons is what we've got on next. Now, I remember launching these to the channel because they come with a phenomenal kit. But the rub-ons, once again, if you want quick and easy cards, this is the best way to go, isn't it, Lou?
Yeah. Well, Karen Joan is a really, really sort of significant designer, and she's got this wonderful style, this clean and crisp style, and she does some great rub-ons, and we know rub-ons as the old-fashioned ones, but she's changed them up here, and these look so good. They go with the colours and the freshness of it, and just if you just want a word, but they go with the flowers again. Just one word on a card will finish it off. I love these. I'm not a rub-on sort of girl, but I really like these because they don't remind me of a rub-on, if that makes any sense at all.
No, because rub-ons normally, they normally think, oh, these are never going to work. It's like the old printed tattoos that you used to put on your skin. You used to rub with water, and they used to come off on your skin and be there for like 7 weeks. These, they look classy. They're rub-ons, but for the modern day, as it were. They're modern day rub-ons, so they're stylish and they're classy and they're very now, if I can say that. Yeah. They're very, very now. And Karen's work is absolutely stunning. As I said, I remember launching her cuties. So these little people, where are you? There you are. So I remember launching the people onto the channel. I remember doing one of her first shows, and I absolutely adored them. So maybe you're going to start filling up your collection with these, and you get everything you see here. You're getting 10 sheets. 10 sheets. Imagine doing these over the summer and putting them onto your envelopes, putting them onto your letters, even making your notice boards for those garden parties that you're maybe going to be throwing. 786977 is your item number, £14.95. Well worth having a little look at these as well, with a £10 saving. Nice little gift as well for someone. Yeah. Start thinking throughout the year. A nice little gift now. If you're like me and you're a savvy shopper, I try to be anyway, I always buy the gifts when they're at good prices. Write them down. Oh, I've got that for Jean, I've got that for Heather, I've got that for Dave, I've got that for Anne. Things like that. And then I know I've got them gifts ready and waiting for them when we come to them. £14.95 is what you're looking at. 786977 is your item number. We're getting closer to the paints. We're getting closer to them. Now, the die sets that we've got here. Once again, another Karen Jones die set. But this makes a nice little photo frame that you've got in there. So it makes a photo frame. Lou, am I right in saying as well, it also makes a wallet, like the old brown envelope wallets that you used to get with your money in to put your milk money in. It's cool.
Your milk money and your dinner money. Yeah, it makes a great little add-on for your journal pages, and it does make a great little photo frame, but it's got all the bits that go with it as well. Like, you can add the little tags and the frame. And it just reminds me, right, of an old telly. So I thought you could make like the old-fashioned TV, you know, where you had a massive box and a screen about 2 inches long, wide. Massive one. And I just think it's really, you know, but horses for courses, you do whatever you want with this. I like the idea of being able to change it to suit what you're doing at the time.
No, it's very true, because you're also getting as well, so not only do you get the money wallet, it's larger than a money wallet, may I add, you also get the Polaroid photo frame. So if you're into your journaling, your scrapbooking, all those photos and those memories that you want to keep, maybe you're doing a lockdown journal of what you've done or what's been happening in the news over the last year. This is going to be a perfect way to go. And because you can make those envelopes with all that paper that you've got sitting around. I know we've got a Graphic 45 show on later today, 1 o'clock, I think, off the top of my head. You could use your Graphic 45s and things like that to make those beautiful pockets and those beautiful dies, even down to the tiny little envelopes that you've got there. Fold that up, that will make a perfect little envelope for the fronts of cards. You've got tags in there, you've got the modern, I love these modern hearts, very on trend once again, hashtags in there and things like that. Your card making will go to the next level. £12.49, 599115 is your item number. Right then, we're going back down the grunge route is where we're going now, but we're going for stamps this time. I've not seen these before, Lou. Are these borders? Are they feature stamps? Are they background stamps?
They're a bit of everything, really, because you could make a focal point out of these. They make absolutely brilliant washi tape as well, but they're actually like add-on borders. So if you just want to put a few, you know, just simple pieces on a card, this, to me, you only need this stamped once, and you can just build from it, and you've got a brilliant little minimalist card. But they're clever because they match all the collage grunge that we've had on before, so they go really well. And that alphabet goes with the alphabet from Janini's as well.
They are absolutely stunning. Look at them of what you're getting in here. Beautiful, beautiful work. All the lights are just gone out of the studio. It went very dark. Yeah, but we are absolutely looking so many things. Look at what you can do with this. As I said, washi tape. I never thought of that. You could make beautiful washi tape with this when you get it home. £14.98, 996-864 is your item number for this as well. Everything's dispatched from the 17th. We're nearly there, people. We're nearly there. I think of the star of the show. It's next. But before we get there, we're talking more stamps here as well. Large stamps this time. Look at the size of these flowers that you are getting for £14.98. 949-364 is your item number. I like the sentiment is never regret anything, which is so true. Never regret anything you do. Everything happens for a reason. Oh, look at me being all philosophic. Oh, look at me getting all deep. But never regret it. Do it for a reason. So maybe it's going to be art. And I've always learnt from Lou, and I'm sure Lou won't mind me saying this. Lou, was it you that told me that when you start a journal, always start from the middle? Never do the first page, because if you mess it up, but you'll always look at that and go, I'm not good enough. So start from the middle and work your way out.
Absolutely. It's a bit of pressure on you. It's like your first page in school in your new book. And, you know, and it's that pressure you don't want. You just want to be creative, so start anywhere. More often than not, it's best in middle, so that you can save the page for the front when you feel that you're ready to do it, or never do it. It's entirely to you, but I wouldn't start the front, no.
And the reason I say that, and the reason I went into that, is for the sheer fact for these stamps, what you've got here, if you're just starting out in the stamp world, like these ones, and making marks and things like that, and you're unsure on how to use them or where to put them into your artwork, go for the centre of your book and just stamp, just have fun. I've had hours of fun over the last few days just stamping random things and seeing what it looks like. And that goes for this as well, doesn't it? Because you could literally quite easily stamp and colour so many times and it would look different every single time.
It would, and you're thinking about the paper that you're using as well, how it accepts what you're using, watercolours, paint, anything. That changes what it looks like, the colour of the ink that you use, the colour of, you know, again, the paper. So all these elements go to making that look different every time, like you've just said. You could mask areas out and, you know, and stamp them in different colours. So, you know, think about stuff like that. They are very versatile. Cut them out, decoupage, or I could go on forever. And if you don't stop me, I will.
A little bit of... Once again, you see, it's these little things. Decoupage. Stamp it out a few times, cut them out. You can go for different layers. Really, really build it up. £14.98, a saving of £4. 949-364 is your item number. Right, these... Every time I do a studio light show, I was like, have we got the paints on? No, they sold out. They sold out this morning, Adam. They sold out last night at launch. I never get to bring them to you. For £16.99, you are getting your Studio Light Essential watercolouring set, 18 colours, with a mixing tray and 2 brushes. And 20% of the stock has already gone. I know our Janice raves about Studio Light watercolours. They are in, and I know I can't be biased and I'm not allowed to be, but you can be, Lou. These are the sort of the creme de la creme of the Studio Light world, aren't they?
Yeah, these get so popular now because they've also done them in family colours. So although you can't see the colours there that well, you can see that they're put into a family. So if you're a bit unsure about warms, cold, you know, they actually allow you to sort of take that fear away. Plus they're in pans as well, and the pans come out. So if you want to rearrange them, if you want to put your own pans in, you can do. And a pan, that's it. And the individual little inside is a pan, so you can just pop them out as well and then change them to put your own set of 6 in or whatever. And you know, there's a couple of Studio Lights, and Art by Marlene, Art by Marlene, she does them, but also Janini does some. So if you've got favourites, you can swap them in and out. But I always get asked about this. Plus you've got a Chinese white, which is the name of the white it is. It's a soft white, which you don't often get in watercolours. No black, but storm grey, which is really good.
Well, they are. So you're not only are you getting, you're also getting your palette, which I was trying to take out. You also get your palette in there as well. So you're getting your mixing palette. You're getting all your colours that are in there. You're then also getting 2 of your water brushes, which I absolutely adore. I'm literally laughing at myself because I looked at the iPad and Lou was talking. I was like, have we missed something? But I realised it was on a delay. So you're also getting 2 water brushes that you've also got in there. If you've never tried water brushes before, water brushes are like holding a pen. I can't paint with a paintbrush. I know I can't, but I can use a water brush because it is like using a felt tip pen. I absolutely adore these watercolours, but the only snag is I'm here for the hour, so I'm not going to get the deal that you're going to get. £16.99 is what we're looking at. 713597 is your item number. Lou, if you want to get ready for your demo for me?
Yep.
I'll do the last set of 4 stencils, and then we'll come over for a bit of a play, as it were. 20% of the stock has already gone on the watercolours. They are flying out of the door. They are the best of the best. In the studio like world they are. I am dying to get my hands on some and get them home and just start playing. I really am. 713597. If I had one pick of the show, this would be it. Then last but not least, now you are going to get 4 on this one. You are going to get a set of 4 stencils that we see here. These are the larger stencils that we're looking at. These are the Studio Lights Grunge collection once again, £14.99. You get the grid, the swirl, the zigzag and the rose. I think it's the rose that we're missing. Yeah, there's the rose swirl, look. Second one along on the left. That's the one I'm missing here in the studio. But you are going to get all 4 of these for £14.99 today. Once again, good size stencils. Go in with the detail, go in with your texture pastes, go in with your inks, put them through your die machine and emboss with them as well. Paint through them with your watercolours. Make sure they're not too runny so it bleeds underneath, but paint through and mask areas off. £14.99, you can't go wrong for a set of stencils. 805862 is your item number. Remember, you are getting 4, and the other one is the rose swirl. So the other one is this one just down here is what you're going to be getting. 805862 is your item number for this. We're very busy across the board on this. We're also busy for your 7-day savers as well. Some essentials that you may also need. We've got the Oakwood craft scissors on the show. 2 pairs of scissors for £14.98. Maybe you have one and you gift one. 073, you have one for fabric, one for paper. 073882 is your item number. Red liner tape is up next. Walter Strong. I'd like to meet him. He sounds like a circus act. 330730 is your item number. Now you are getting 3, 6, 9, 12. Rolls, 60 metres in total across 12 rolls, £10.99. The workhorse of the craft room, you could say. Red line tape is 330730 is your item number. Right then, well, is she already? Lou already. Let's just say hello to some of them. Heather's on there, Jane's all there, Dave's there. Heather, be careful. I've been tuning in and out. Just be careful. Anne's on there. I've not seen Sylvia today. She was flirting yesterday. She was using Facebook as a dating service. So, Sylvia, if you're there, say hello. Right then, let's go. She was. Let's go over to our Lou. Lou, what are you using first?
I'd go down the counter. So, I've got this, just a piece of normal... Look at the state of me. I've already got paint all over me. This is A5, and it is watercolour paper. It's not very great shakes or anything, but I just wanted to show you some nice sort of patterns using these stencils, because I don't always think when you're looking at stencils that looking at something like that gives you the right effect. So this is the rose one. I'm just going to use a little bit of the dark, and I'm just going to put a little bit on. I'm using the dark colours so you can see them. So we've got a lovely rose here, and you can use any inks you want and paint, so you're not reliant on what materials you use. Just make sure that whatever you're using is right for the paper you're using. So I've used a couple of colours there, and you get an ombre, which is a lovely sort of fade through. So the flowers are a great background. So what you can do then is put them back on, sort of overlay them so this looks similar, and just blend the colour back. So what we've got is a continuation, and because you can see through them, you can sort of add colour in the background, so you can see him fading them in and out. So that one's the rose one. This is the one that looks like gills. So I just wanted to show you how nicely they work. So I'm working with 3 yellowy greens, and it's a really sort of soft transition of colour, but I always sort of mess about with, you know, colours and seeing which look best. I'm going to use the lighter, sort of mid-green at the moment, and this one's Twisted Citron. So I'm just putting that on there, and then I'm going to go in with the yellow. It's the sort of greeny yellow, mustard seed. Again, I'm going to use it just to pick out areas on this, because this is like a gill on a mushroom just there. You can see how lovely it sort of transitions, and it goes really well with that, considering the 2 very different, you know, subjects. But if I wanted to now, I could bring in this checker one and use, say, a different colour just to give it a little bit of maybe a green. So no, I'll go with a red. So a red here, well, it's red, it's called something hinge, rusty hinge. And just to give it a little bit of difference, not a lot, I don't want it to be too heavy because it is a background. So just that little bit of difference there makes a big difference up there. Now, depending on colour, if you use this in with a brown, it looks more like a rusty floor or rusty metal. If you use it with greys, it looks like quite grungy and like a, you know, a metal sort of metal flooring. So, you know, depending on colour. So I've used all 3 now. So I've got the swirls here, and I'm going to introduce these into the middle to make more of a focal point. So I'm going to go in with the darkest one I've got of my colours, which is Forest Moss, and I'm really just going to darken. I'm not going to go to the edge, I'm going to fade it out. So what I mean by that is just really concentrate in the middle and then not so much out at the edge, so that I'm not getting a hard line. So you can see they all work well together. That's, I mean, and then if you just add one simple stamp from Janini's there, or a little bit of the, in fact, I'll go on to do that now, I'll show you. If we've got that, then we just put these away. And then the next one, we could use Janini's wonderful stamps. And I've got all of these in. So these are they've got the splots and splats, and I'm not using that, it's really scruffy, look at that. I can't use that. So I'll use this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same colours that I've already got. So I've just put this on a block, and I'm going to pick the colours I want. So I'm going to go with a darker one, and I'm just going to press that in. Just to show you that even though you think, oh, these don't look like they would go, you'd be surprised how they do. So I'm just going to put a little bit there and a little bit there, and then take that one off. And the little circle ones, I love the circle ones because you can, if you're clever, which I know you all are, you can actually cut these out separately so that you've got 2 actual stamps, so you can use them individually if you want. And I'm just going to bring this, now you can use this any colour you want. I'm going to go for a turquoisey colour, and just to really make it pop.
Look at that.
And I'm just going to take it off, and then I'm just going to use like little bits to bring this stamp out without doing I don't want to do the full circle, I just want to sort of get a little bit of the shape moving out, but I don't want the full circle. But this is why I love these, because that's how easy it is to use that. And then if you do want a focal point, if you get a longer like not ink pad, if you get a longer sort of stamp pad and just choose your dark colour, or you can mix them. So if I've got that there, sorry, I'm going, and I'll have a bit of green, I think, just, you never know what's going to happen with this. That's why I like it. It's one of them. What does it look like? Well, I haven't got a clue till I do it.
I suppose it's a case, Lou, of not being scared, is it?
Yeah, that's it. If you're using tone on tone, then you're not going to do too much damage. If you're working with lots of different colours, I'll put a grey on the top now, just to show you the difference. Or even, I tell you what, we can go with a black, just to show you the difference now. When you put on the same stamp in black, how powerful it is. My advice is when you're using these ones, I'll take this off just to show you, is let them drop and let them settle like that, and then put them on. I'll tell you why, because I know I do, and I know a lot of people have mentioned they do it. They get what they call like the sort of fixed line, so they try and put it on straight, and it doesn't work like that. It sort of looks like it's all bent, so I let it sort of settle on the surface and then apply it to the stamp platform or whatever you're using. Let it settle. So I'm just going to see how dense it looks in black. So again, you don't need to use it all. That's why I like these stamps, because if you're not frightened of getting your fingers mucky, you can use as much or as little as you want, like just a titty bit like that. So you can even just use your thumb. You only need a little bit, and it really overlaps quite well. And then I'm just going to put on maybe a little bit there, faded. So really, we've used everything now. I mean, it does make you mucky, but that's what you should look like. That's what you should look like. Now, I'm going to concentrate on the other stuff as well. But so we've got all those backgrounds. We've done the masking, using the masks and the stencil. We've used the stamps. Now, I'm going to just show you with this, but then I'll go back to the other products again. I'm going to get the watercolours in. Now, the watercolours are stunning, very, very useful. The colours are amazing. The palette here, just to show you, is if you have like I can't get this out without ripping my nails off now. You know what I did? I put it in that well, I can't get it out. These little extra panels here, some of us use what we call spare watercolours. And that might be in tubes. What you do is you put a little bit of the tube colour in there, it dries, and then you can reconstitute it whenever you want, so you can make your own palette. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of the pear. Now, pear is one of my favourite colours. It's like a khaki green, but it's just so versatile. It's a bit of one of those colours that's a bit overlooked. So I'm just going to bring it at one sweep. Now, don't forget that your other stuff interacts as well, your ink. So just be mindful of that. I'm just bringing the same colour out underneath. And again, just there, just to give it a little bit of a sort of blended edge. I can go right up there to make sure that, and that basically is a background using everything, and to be honest with you, I really like that. And if you want to blend that out a little bit more, and then what you can do to soften the whole thing,
is it just me, or if you turn your head upside down that looks like a pineapple?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's how simple it is. I've used everything on there now, and if you canny like me, you won't waste that. You'll get another bit of paper or card, and you'll just clean it up with that. And this is another thing. If you've got your journal and you don't want to, like we said about not starting in the middle, mop up your pages so you've got colour on your page already. It looks nothing, that, but half my pages are work like that. So that's one.
I like
just that. One little background. What I can do now is just show you some of the stamps, if you don't mind, and then
go on,
that way.
Let's do it.
Well, the stamps, you'll be forgiven to think that, well, maybe they don't look as sort of fine as they are, and I'll be honest with you, they're quite deceptive, because you look at them and they do look heavy, but they're seriously so fine. I'm just going to move this out. I'm just going to get one. And I'm going to use the same colours again because they show up nice and bright. So I'm going to use this one again. I'm going to use it as a focal point again in the middle, but this time I'm going to use, instead of ink, I'm going to use the paint. So tiny bit of paint on my palette there. I mixed the two colours up, so I've got a little bit of darker and lighter on the palette there. Just bring it over a little bit there, and then just stamp this way. So I'll just bring that on, and then so if you want more water on this, give it a squirt, and then you're using your watercolour ink paint, sorry, as a, you can just see that as a background, which looks so subtle. It looks lovely, that. And then, you know, you want to go really sort of, let's get the splats on, get them on. I like to do, sometimes you do them together, it looks a bit much, so just do one at once and then see how it goes. I'm using the same watercolour again, and because the suction on this makes it sort of change direction and shape, you might get like a really nice watercolour splat, and it does look like a good splat. I'm going to do this in something darker because otherwise you won't see it, so let me do it in this.
Oh, look at that.
So I've done that's one. Now what I can do is do a little bit with the water first, keep that straight into the ink, and then on the top, and I've got like it's like a haze around it that shows where I stamp with the watercolours first, and then, so you could do that. As long as you sort of keep your stamp the way, you've got like a double haze, a double bubble. Again, it's so easy to do. So there's your splats, and even they don't look, you know, overpowering, which you think, you know, a splat would be quite overpowering. So I'm going to get this one now. This is the one that I used. I used to stamp, and then I used stitching, French knots, beads, and everything. And I did it on black linen with little white pearls.
I remember
and it was stunning. It really was stunning. And you've got this wonderful.
Look at that.
You see, even with those circles in the outside, you sort of allow it blends so well. Now what I'm doing is I'm turning this round, but I'm not using all the stamp. I'm sort of only doing a little bit so that I haven't got full registration. Again, a little bit there, and then I can't really show you, but I'm sort of putting it down like that, and then just lifting one end, but bringing, there we go, you can see that now. So I've got a really nice background using them, but you can do the writing that goes with these is great. This beautiful font. Now, I love this. I'm not going to do individual letters because I cannot do all that. You would give up the will, and so would I. So I'm going to do the lot together. Turn it over and show it you. I'll show it you on it, don't matter. Now, if you want to do this, do it a couple of times, and then all you do is cut out the ones you want. So you can see how delicate that is.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not at all clumpy, or because it does look bigger on there. And it looks so much finer on there.
It is big. They are bigger in real life. They really, really are.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's my hand, and you can see. So, yeah, they are. They are really quite large. But then let's have a look at these, because these again are super fine, super useful. She says as she's throwing everything around, and these are absolutely gorgeous. Now, these embossed are just absolutely beautiful, because don't forget, I don't do a lot of embossing and all that, but when you do emboss, if you use like small areas of gold, they just look absolutely out of this world. But you can do it as fine as you want, or as light or as dark, or anything you want with these. But I do like the fact that you can go over with a white pen if you wish. Like, I'm doing a lot of my moodling at the moment, and this is wonderful for that. I've just, again, as I said, let it drop, then place this on top. I'm using a block by Clarity. I love this one.
Do you have moodling today, Lou? Have we got any moodling today?
Yeah, 12 as always. Every day at 12. Mindful moodling, and it's become very, very popular now. I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm just going to place this here, just to show you how beautiful it is. And I'm just going to go across to create a pattern.
That's nice.
So just across the middle, you can see you've got that love. Ah! Cheddar!
Put a splat on though.
Put a
splat on it.
Juicy stamp. There we go. See, it's just stunning. I mean, how nice is that? It's just like my hands. That's just one of them. And I'm just going to do the second generation just to show you. And it looks nice stamped on and off as well.
It sort of looks like peacock feathers.
Do you know what? All depending on the colour you use, it changes it dramatically. So that's one of them. And we've got quite a few, and I'll just stamp them all out so you're not, watching me stamp that out forever. Slightly different styles, some of them. Smaller, so that you're able to sort of fit these however you want. So this is the one this is really useful around lettering. So if I wanted to create a border around for lettering, I could just pop that on there and that on there like that. And then in there, I'll just put a couple of, I'm not going to write them all, I'll just put A, B, C to show you. But I do like to stamp these all at once simply because they're already set out on there. And it's just easier for me. I'm going to do them upside down and round, but don't worry, you know what I mean. I always get them the wrong way around. My perception like that is really difficult. Done it right, but can you see how the difference of the fine line and the wording? So that could be your name, it could be anything. My advice, keep these together on something, and even on the back of this I'd put some tape, masking tape or something, because I will lose them. So that's one of those. The other one, so we've done that one. We've just got two more to quickly show you.
Okay,
and then
we'll do a quick recap.
Yeah, these are only smaller ones again, a little bit bigger, but these bring in more of the dots and things, so I could do another frame there, and again match it up to make another frame.
That's nice, look at that.
And I could do one from the top, so you can do them all around your page. I'm using a Versaclair, and it's very juicy, so I get it everywhere. I'm terrible with stamping. Here's the last one, and it's a softer one, and you can, let me show you here. Right, if I put this on here to show you, I can match up some of these swirls. Is it that way? Yeah, that way. And I can do a repeat pattern with it.
Just like waves.
Yes, and it would be really good for waves. So I can do a whole repeat pattern randomly. You're not set on thinking, oh, well, I can only do like straight. No, you can do random, so you have got that. That'd be fantastic for waves, you're right. If I did it like that, the waves sort of coming down.
Yeah.
And then did it in darker blues and lighter blues. You've got a lot of scope with that. So don't just look at these and think, oh, they're a bit swirly-whirly. They're actually so useful because the flowers that we've got in the Karen Jones stuff worked with these as well. So I'm ready if you're ready, if you want to do the little talky bit.
Thank you very much, Lulu. Thank you. You're an absolute star, you see. what we do is we just let Lou play, because that's what you want to see. You want to see how they stamp out. You want to see what you can do with them when you get home. Right then, we're going to go now. Give you a quick recap of the counter. 40% of the paints have now already gone. Studio Light Essential watercolour sets, 18 colours with the mixing tray and 2 brushes as well. You sort of got a flat end brush and also your standard painting brush in there. You've also got your colour swatch chart, so you know what colours they look like once they are dry. Well worth having a little look. If you need a new set of watercolours, £16.99. You really can't go wrong. Usual price is just shy of £20. £16.99 is what we're looking at for this one. Well worth having a little go. 713597 is your item number. A lot of you on the old Facebook chat are saying you absolutely love Studio Light. You love the quality that they bring you as well. It's absolutely stunning. Something else that you're loving as well. Not only are you loving the watercolours, you're also loving the I don't know where I was. You're also loving the photo frame die as well. So not only does it make a Polaroid frame, it also makes a little wallet. Remember the little brown wallets that you used to have your dinner money in? You used to have your lunch money and you used to hand it in on a Monday, just so you knew where it all was for the week. That makes one of these, but it makes it slightly larger. You can see the actual size that you're getting if I put my little fingers in there all together. You get like little envelopes and you get the little plaques to make on the front. Then you get the tags and you get the hi, love, hashtags, hearts, banners, bunting. You name it, it's all thrown in there. For £12.49, 599115 is your item number for this one. And then we've got your rub-ons. That was my version of ABC that Lou stamped out. We've all been singing it here when we saw that. Then you've also got your rub-ons on the show. Now, this is not a pick and mix. This is not pick your favourite 4 from 5. We're very good at that here. This is everything that you see here. Every single rub-on. You're getting 10 sheets of rub-ons. 2 of each design is what you're getting. Well, you're getting 2 per pack is what you're getting, so each pack is slightly different that's in there. Let me whip that one forward just so you can see. So you've got things like the flowers on there, and then you've got the girl on there as well. I'll stop now, Mo. You can carry on. From there, you've got the flowers. You can go quite trendy. You can go quite modern with these if you wanted to. A little, what's that? Hello Weekend. These would be good in your planners, your happy planners. Be amazing, little happy planners. Absolutely love them. Leonie would love these in little happy planners, because literally you just put them on the page and you give them a little rub with a lollipop stick. Can't go wrong. £14.95. Give it a little rub with a lollipop stick. Should be a life lesson. 786977 is your item number. Blooming Collection is where we go. Oh, I don't know if we got that one this way. How much? Oh, 60 stamps. I was going to say 60 colour. Very busy for this one. 60 stamps is what you're getting. You're getting positives and you're getting negatives as well. So this is your outer edge. So do this in your black maybe, then colour it in. Or stamp it out in a grey and then go straight in with your colour. So it looks like you've stamped it straight away. Imagine using these with your watercolours. That is my basket for today. I want was a lot of hand action, wasn't there? I want to get nothing, my Nana always told me. I would like a set of these and a set of the watercolours. I would be a little happy boy for a very long time. It's been a very long time since I've been a very happy boy. £19.96 is what we're looking at for these. Because you could stamp them out, colour them in. Every colour is going to be different. Experiment with blending. Experiment with different colours, with brushos, with inks and what you can achieve. Pencils, pens. Go to town. Go to town. £19.96. Absolutely love these. Set of these in the watercolours. I'm a happy little bunny. Then we saw Lou using, not these, we saw Lou using these. She's new, bless her. We saw Lou using these in her demos. It's the music, it's the splats, it's the fireworks, it's the typewriter that we've got there. And those fancy flourishes as well. We all love a fancy flourish. Doesn't matter what day of the week, I love a fancy flourish, me. I really, really do. So get them. And many people, Sarah John has said, I sound like our Christ again. Sarah said she loves Studio Light stamps. The quality is amazing. Everyone's on there as well. Thank you for all your comments. I am reading them as we watch Lou all together. So you're saying how amazing Lou's demos are. And remember, 12 o'clock today, you can go and Moodle. I think it's Doodle and Moodle. With our Lou, you'll find it. It's all on Facebook. Don't worry. They're very, very good. Me and Derek were talking about it this morning. Right, and Lou, we're coming back to you. You've got about 5 minutes. Oh, I have just got to say as well, because she was kicking off, Diamond Crystal, hello. But I didn't say hello, so I mentioned everybody else apart from her. Hi, Diamond. I hope you're well. Hope you get your heating sorted. Right, and Lou, we're coming back. What are you showing me this time?
Well, I'm going to use the Karen Jones stamps, but I'm going to do lots and lots of different little techniques because I think that's what I'd like to see, and rather than one project. So what I've done is you've got a positive and negative on these. Sorry if it's shining. And these are great, and these all come separate. So these are the line ones to go with these, which are the solid ones. So you can do either or, and that's what I'll do. I'll show you both. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is A6 now, gone to A5 in half, just to show you how simple this is. So the first little trick we're going to do is really easy. I'm just going to get Distress in Rusty Inch, and all I'm going to do is just stamp this. And I'm just going to put one there, one there. Now, what I would necessarily do there now, just excuse me while I put that in there, I would mask that off. So, you know, I wouldn't, at home, you'd mask this. So I'm just going to do that. Right, and then remember that you'd mask this, so it wouldn't look as dodgy as this. There we go. So all I've done is 3 little lines. I'm just keeping it in one colour. So I've got the words, which is the earth laughs in flowers. So again, I'm going to use the Rusty Hinge, and I'm just going to put that there, like that. And then you've got the stems. Now the stems, you can choose any of them you want. You've got the outlines, or you've got the sort of solid. So what I'm going to do is just switch over and use the solid. I'm going to use a solid leaf and a solid stem.
I love those.
Now you don't need to use the ones that are on the pack. You mix them. So again, I'm looking at that. Now I always test it first, so I'll get a piece of paper, and I use these as backgrounds later. Perfect. What I don't want to do is over stamp this, so I'm just going to put a little bit there, put a little bit there, and then a bit there. You won't see that, I might draw it in. So what I'm going to do then is just straighten that, even though it's round shaped, if I show you what I mean. Even though that's meant to go curvy like that, if I put it on here and manipulate it,
we've got 2 minutes, Lou.
Oh, right, is that all? Right,
yeah.
Okay. I can get a nice straight line to get a frame. I'm just going to do that, and then, so I've done that. Now what you can do is you can either use the ink that you've got there just to colour it.
That's nice.
And any fluffed up things like that are now hidden. So it's a really simple little card, and then the ink that you've got here, just bring it in there so you've got like it's not a photo frame but an edge, so that this looks different to the background. And then that's that done. That is that done. But just to show you that if you get quickly, you get that one. You need the watercolours though, seriously need the watercolours. I'm going to stamp with the 2 now just to show you what they look like. So I've got 2 different colours, both lights. I've got a light and a dark brown. And you can use any inks you've got. I'm going to use this one which is the solid flower. Just going to put it on this. So the first one I'm going to use is a light ink. This is a Memento in Desert Sands, so it's quite light and neutral, and it's on watercolour paper, so it will look bobbly, which I want. So that's it stamped. And then you move on to the line one, and you sort of get it where you need it. Is that it? Yeah. And they're easy to line up, these. Some I've spent half an hour and give up the will. But it doesn't matter with these. You can just go over like that if you wish.
We've got
Or
a minute left, Lou.
I can go straight on with this, with the liner. Like that, take that off. Then what I can do is just look at this and think, right, where does that go, where does that go? And just put it on top like that, and then stamp it, and then that way you know that's going to go there. So you've got two ways of doing it. Even stamp's nice with the same colour if you want to do the liner and the...
Lou, we've only got 30 seconds left of the show. I'm going to love you and leave you 20 seconds, in fact. Thank you very much, Lou. It's been an absolute pleasure. When are you back, Lou?
Oh, it is. I'm back tomorrow morning.
We'll see you then.
And then...
Go on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Lou. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you to you as well. We'll check out your baskets. You've got 6 minutes to get them. I've only got 3 seconds. I don't know what else to say. See you later. Thank you all for your comments on Facebook as well throughout that hour. Thank you all for joining in. You're loving Studio Life. You've got less than 5 minutes now to get those deals before. But Handmade by Hayley One Day Special is up next. Check out those baskets.
Hi, I'm Ali from Ali Stitch Your Fingers. I've been sewing most of my life. I absolutely love sewing. I've been with the Hochanda now from the very beginning, really. That's when I started to go there. The Hochanda family are lovely people to work with, and I'm really enjoying my time with them. Designing is a big part of the journey for me as well. I love going out and finding the fabrics to use in the projects and bringing them to you. I love the designing process from start to finish, and then the finished project is just the icing on the cake. So make sure you don't miss out. Come and sew with me on Hochanda.
Have you heard of Hochanda Freedom? Did you know that as a Hochanda Freedom member, you could be making savings on every order you place? For just £5.97 a month, you will benefit from selected Freedom member discounts and complimentary standard delivery on every order you place. You will also receive our exclusive Hochanda Freedom members badge, regular newsletters, giveaways and crafty updates. If you shop with Hochanda more than twice a month, then Freedom is for you. Don't forget, your Freedom membership is flexible, so you can pause it if you're going away, or you can cancel it at any time. So what are you waiting for? Give us a call or head to the website, quoting item number 88888, and join Hochanda Freedom today.
Exciting news! For the 5th year in a row, Hochanda has been awarded the top accolade of Platinum Trusted Service Award from Feefo. These awards recognise businesses that deliver exceptional experiences as rated by you, our customers, and we're honoured to have been selected. The Trusted Service Award means you can shop with confidence, based on the reviews from over 60,000 Hochanda customer experiences. Thank you for your independent reviews. It means a lot to us.
Hello, my name's Stuart and I'm the Managing Director of Oakwood Archer. Oakwood Archer is a family-run business and my son and my daughter work very hard with me to bring the best craft items to you in the UK. We specialise in high-quality items brought into the UK from all over the world, including brands like Kaisercraft, Stampendous and Impression Obsession. Working with Hochanda is fantastic for us. It gives us the opportunity to bring all of these brands and all of these products from all over the world direct to you, the crafter in the UK. Our products include stamps, dies, papers, buttons, trimmings, ribbons and album making kits. Just about everything you need to be a good crafter. So please don't miss Oakwood Archer shows on Hochanda.
Hi, I'm Jean, and together with my partner Malcolm, we run a small business in the northeast of England called Crafty Individuals. At Crafty Individuals, we're mostly involved in the design and manufacture of a very wide range of red rubber art stamps, but we also have a range of background papers and mini images that are also brilliant to create with. Personally, my background is in art and design and crafting, and most of the designs have been created by myself. We also have a great little team of other artist friends who've helped us along the way and have come up with other designs that completely work alongside our own. So do pull up a pew and join us on the Hochanda shows. We can't wait to see you there.
Good morning, everyone. Lovely to have your company here on, oh, is it Tuesday, isn't it? Like it matters really at the moment at all. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is at all. It's always a good day here at Hochanda because we're always going to keep you company and we're always going to show you some different and innovative tools and ways of simplifying and amazifying. There's a new word. Your crafting, no matter what it is. We're talking fabric today, and as you can see, it's handmade by Hayley. Hayley is here. Good morning.
Good morning. Amazifying. I love that.
Amazifying. Why not? Let's have some new words. How are you, my darling?
I'm very well, thank you. Very much looking forward to working with you, as always.
As always, my darling. We were saying we've got all three shows that I'm on today. We're together. And she said, "Oh, you'll be sick of the sight of me later."
Like
I was
a double act
never,
today.
never. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, bless you.
We've got a brilliant hour coming your way, and actually, even when you see all the fabric and all the quilts behind me, even if you are not a quilter of any description whatsoever, this show will be worth your while sticking around for, definitely. One, because, of course, you've got me and Hayley to keep you company for an hour. Quite aside from that, we've got a brilliant one-day special as well. Now, we're calling the one-day special, and it absolutely is, a collaboration, Hayley, between you and Crafts2 together,
That's
getting
right.
together and saying, right, OK, how can we cut out some of the perceived faff in cutting fabric?
Very much so.
Because when it comes to cutting fabric, there's kind of like, a bit like paper crafting. You can guillotine, you can die cut, you can this, you can that, you can cut with
Use a
scissors.
craft and
There's
knife.
loads and loads of different ways. And we're not playing one against the other. We're just saying, actually, here's another one to try.
It's just about giving choice.
Yes. But what we've got here is dies that will cut fabric and multiple layers of fabric at the same time, which is really good. So that's really appealing to anyone that works with fabric, I know. But we can also consider these as multimedia dies as well.
Yeah.
And people often think that the regular sort of papercraft dies, they're quite low profile,
Yes.
they're quite thin, they're great at what they
Not
do.
a huge amount of metal in them,
But they're one at a time.
Yes.
But actually what we've got here, although we're billing them as fabric dies, and they are great at that, because they are kind of like double depth, aren't they?
That's right.
So they'll go through multiple fabrics at the same time, but they'll also go through our
Mount
thicker
board.
cardstock, which is really, really good. So for the paper crafters, this is just
mixed
as relevant
media.
as whether you're making a quilt.
Oh yeah, very much so. And it is exactly that. You can use these to cut out, well, pretty much any medium you want. In felt, you were talking about earlier on, can be a tricky one with your traditional dies. And you just wouldn't entertain the idea of cutting multiple layers with regular dies. I tried regular dies just with one layer of fabric and it didn't cut.
Yeah.
So that's the issue that you've got. And you certainly don't want to be cutting a piece at a time with a die cutting machine. So these basically evolved because we've got lots of people paper crafting who often speak to me and say, oh, I love the sewing shows and I love to sit and watch, but it's not something that I can do. I don't understand the maths of how you figure out your seam allowance and all this talk about quarter square triangles and half square triangles.
Yes, like a new language, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's very intimidating, it's very scary. So I always love, and I've loved it for many, many years, I love getting people and encouraging people and educating people that there's sometimes much simpler ways to get into the final destination, being potentially a quilt or a cushion. It doesn't have to be a huge project, it can be just one project. But the dies enable you to actually cut out your pieces with that seam allowance word that we use. And what that means is that when you stitch these with a 1/4 inch seam, you have got them to kind of coordinate with the mocker block system that we've brought to you before, which I'll explain to you a little bit later on.
Which is genius, by the way, if you've never seen it. And actually, I've never been in the room on a show where that has been shown before, and I think it's absolutely genius. I really do. It's absolutely brilliant, because it just gives you a mind's eye view. Well, it's two, really. It gives you a mind's eye view of whether that block actually looks any good. And secondly, then it kind of helps you with the maths and kind of debunks all of those kind of, oh, OK, well, if I'm making a block of my own and I'm inventing it, oh gosh, how much fabric am I going to need? What shapes am I going to need? What are the, what are the dimensions, etc., etc.
And I know you're going to go through it in greater detail, but just since we keep mentioning the word of mocker block, mocker block is a system whereby you've got a framework. You don't have to keep within the constraints of the frame if you don't want to, but it gives you the opportunity to almost use things like, well, I call them jigsaw pieces. These are all cut-out pieces that you get within your mocker block system that you start playing around with. You put in your design. That tells you all these different pieces that you need to create your block, and then you need to cut out your pieces, and that's where the dies come into play if you are a little bit scared about using things like rotary cutters and rulers, or sometimes you don't have the dexterity, you don't have the upper body strength anymore in order to do that.
Well,
and this makes it easily.
And also, that whole thing of it cutting multiple layers at the same time, it's brilliant, I think. So let's walk you through your one-day special then, because these are these multimedia dies, and they are brilliant. So great for cutting multiple layers of fabric at the same time. And you've got here a collection of what is probably the most used shapes in quilting as well. Now, the brilliant thing is they'll all make 3-inch patches as well, won't they? Which is really, really good. So this is your 2 square dies. Now, bearing in mind that every one of these multimedia dies, because the profile of it is kind of like way, way higher than a standard paper cutting die, you can see just how big that cutting edge is in comparison to a regular die, but you're getting 2 of them as well. So if you can go through 6 layers on 1, that means you can go through 12 layers on 2, which is really, really good. Which just means that getting together those bits and pieces that you need to build up your quilt is brilliant. So you've got your 2 square dies there and your 2 half-square triangles. And then we move on to... Oh, sorry, I did rearrange these beautifully. It's great, this. It's like making your own puzzle. I love it, on these magnetic sheets. So you've got the 1/4 square triangles and 1/4 square dies here as well. Do you know, when you hear all of this half square and 1/4 square thing, it can be really, really baffling. But when you see it like this, you think, oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. It completely and utterly makes sense, especially when you combine it with the mocker block system. They're so intuitive to each other.
And I tend to call them large triangles and small triangles.
Yes.
Just to keep it simple to get started.
Yeah, and different people refer to them as different things. That's the thing. Depending on your level of quilting and your level of experience, the language changes. You know, like if you go to Spain, you go around the regions and there are different dialects of the language. Well, it's the same when you watch quilters demonstrating, because they'll describe things slightly differently. Here are the other dies that you get as well. These are the rectangular dies. So you get 3 of the rectangles and 2 of the half-square rectangles as well there for you. So 17 dies in total. Every single one of those dies, I mean, the great thing is, whichever shape you're talking about, there are more than one die, which is brilliant, because if you can go through 6 layers, as I say, on 1, that means you can go through 12 layers of fabric on 2, and that means you're cutting down your time, because often constructing a quilt, the devil's in the detail, and also the devil is in the cutting, in terms of that's the time. Sewing it together, that's the joyful bit. That's the bit that everyone wants to get to, because that's actually seeing everything coming together in front of your eyes, isn't it? But the cutting can be a thing. And we've got, you know, various ways of doing it, but the dies I just think actually for those people who do a lot of quilting,
Yes,
or are brand new to it, or are a little bit baffled by it, I think something like this could be really, really useful. And I say could because the only way you'll know is if you get them home and you try them. And if you're a paper crafter, again, being able to go through those materials that your regular dies, you'd really be stretching them to try, and you'd go through a few times and you'd have scraggly edges and everything else. This is going to go through those really, really tougher materials as well.
Certainly is. And also, one of the other things that really irritates me when I'm cutting out my fabrics and stitching them together are the little kind of dog ears that you get. So these obviously I keep in my dies here on my magnetic sheets. I'm just going to move those out of the way for a moment. Because traditionally, when you come to cut your shapes, like your triangles, your small triangles, you can see you cut your triangles and away you go. You stitch them together and you make your little patch, and of course all those patches stitched together make a block. So you can see here instantly you've got those little kind of ears that stick out. So usually what you're having to do is when you're lining one against the other, you have to go through, oh there she goes, drops the scissors on the floor. You have to trim off those little corners, and you end up with literally hundreds of these little tiny pieces all over the floor, the dog, your clothes, they go, and it's just a nightmare. And they can kind of clog up your vacuum and all sorts. So they're a real nightmare. So one of the things that you will find with the dies is it does away with that as well. Because when it cuts them, it cuts your pieces with a rounded corner. And so these kind of interlock together. They take away a lot of the bulk as well. So if you've got areas where you've got lots of fabric, rather than having maybe 4 layers there, you're taking away some of the bulk that you can see. And it also gives you the easy way of lining up those corners. I find sometimes when you've got the corners like this, they can be a bit wayward, and it means that you do have a knock-on effect with you kind of having things all to perfection in the centre there. But with the dies, because you're lining them up and you're kind of concentrating on those outside areas, the inner areas naturally come together. Now, so that's another reason why I wanted to bring them. And then obviously you've got your blocks that you're going to put together, but you don't have anything that you're having to kind of trim off. They are all ready to go, literally like that together. So nice and easy for you to work with. Very, very simple. So again, there you go. That's how it all comes together beautifully. Now, do you want me to show you cutting the dies out, or did you want to have a little look at the mocker block first?
Well, let's have a look at the mocker block first, because I think this is going to, everything then locks together, and then we can get into to demo as well. This is absolutely genius, and this is pretty. I wanted to get this out just to kind of explain to you, because then if it made sense to me, I thought actually then for somebody unfamiliar that it would then make sense for you. Essentially what you're doing here is you're building a jigsaw puzzle. Yes, it is upside down, you're quite right. There you go. There's better. What you're doing is you're building your own jigsaw puzzle, but you're doing it with shapes that are relevant to quilting. So you've got the most popular shapes here that you literally use as jigsaw puzzle pieces to mock a block, and that means to design your own block. Now, it's not as simple as just going, okay, this looks really, really pretty, now I've got a block and I've put all the puzzle pieces together and that looks lovely, thank you very much, haven't I been impressive? Because actually it goes a stage further than that, doesn't it? Because then you turn into Carol Vorderman, don't you?
Well, long way from that. definitely with my mental maths, which is why the patch calculator evolved, really.
Absolutely.
Because it kind of gets very confusing, because you create your block. Now, these are all things that you can actually download from our website, but you will actually get this within your mocker block system. So, for instance, you could create one of these blocks, and it might be, well, it could be any one of these. Say it's this one at the top here. And you can see where the lines are, the vertical and horizontal lines. Those are kind of mimicking your patches, and you'll be making all of these pieces and you'll stitch them together. So you'll have a row of 3 that you'll stitch together, another row of 3, a final row of 3, and then eventually you would stitch those all together to make your overall block. Well, as you can see, they're kind of made up of little segments. So what the patch calculator is for is when you actually look at these segments, you kind of do a little bit of shopping list of what you need to make your block. So you can look at the corners, you can see you've got that diagonal there made up of 2 large triangles. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you would do is on your patch calculator, and you can either use the white clean one that you get within your set, or you can photocopy it, or as I say, download the PDF and then just print it off as you want. So in that particular block there, I would need 4 of those. So I would write that in row B. The number of patch repeats per block is 4. Then I'm looking at the other pieces. So I've got these made up of the small triangles. So it's got 2 dark ones and 2 lighter ones. And the pieces that you've got within your mocha block are designed to show you a light fabric and a dark fabric. And you simply flip them over to get the white side when you're putting them into your framework. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of those. So again, I find that on here, and down at the bottom there I've got those, so I would write 5 in there. Now if it's a case of that I'm just making 1 block, then I've got all the requirements I need, and this is a good opportunity for you to do a little bit of maths just to make sure that if you are working on a design that's got 9 patches, that this column all adds up to 9, because it means you haven't left any out. So here, if I'm only doing one block to make a cushion cover, I would just need 4 of those, and I'd need 5 of those. But then if I was doing, say, a quilt with 10 of those blocks, then I can start multiplying it up, and it's all explained at the top there. I'm not going to say it out loud because it makes it very, very confusing. So, and it's kind of that, the audio thing where you hear it, it makes it sound confusing. But basically, you're multiplying the columns. So 1 times 4 is 4, 4 times 10 is 40. So that means of the small triangles, I need 40. And of course, it's going to be exactly the same for the dark ones because they're exactly the same there. This one down here, we need 2 of each of those. So 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So that means that when I actually come to cut my pieces, those are the quantities I need to make my 10 block quilt. So there, straight away, I've got my shopping list of what I need. I can put a title on there, so it can be the name of somebody's quilt. So it could be, I don't know, Amy's quilt. And it could be, if you're doing lots of these for different types of blocks, it could be block, I don't know, you put it in position, I don't know, 1A or wherever. You can just put a reference guide there of whatever you want to do.
And that's what leads you to your one-day special as well.
Indeed.
Because it's almost like here we've put the cart before the horse, if you get my meaning. So if you're designing your block and you're putting that together, even actually if you're replicating a block, I don't know why I'm holding this, that was just something I ran up in 10 minutes earlier. No, this is one that Haley put together to replicate that block that is on the mocha block. Oh no, there's the one.
Well, it could be one that you've designed. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of difference. But when you actually look at that piece, because it's been stitched together, the area that you can see is a 3-inch square.
Yes.
So the relevance being is when you actually come to cut it out, it needs to be larger than that because you've got your seam allowance.
Yeah.
And your seam allowance is where your fabrics come together and you're stitching them. So what I've got here is I've got exactly the same size. So as Derek was showing you there, you've got your square. So that's the visible piece, and you think, right, yeah, okay, so I've cut those all to, I don't know, 3 inches or whatever size you want. So 3 inches, brilliant. And you might stitch several of those together to make your block, and then you start getting a bit more adventurous, and you think, well, hang on a minute, I'm going to bring in another fabric. I like the idea of the triangles, so I'm just going to cut that in half and stitch them together. But each time you add in a seam, what happens is the overall square gets smaller and smaller. So again, if you were to cut that across that way and stitch it together to make that design that you can see there, that is smaller, and it's a lot smaller than the original square that you started off. So basically, if I was to cut that into quarters like that and stitch them together, I would end up with a piece that size, and that is too small to match with that original one that I was planning on working with.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, and that's what this does for you as well, is it just simplifies everything. So the mocha block is almost like a, for anyone that is new to quilting and for anyone that is venturing down Quilt Street, this is brilliant. For anyone that wants to design their own quilt, that is absolutely brilliant. And in fact, remember, it doesn't have to be that you're designing a whole quilt. It could just be it's one block. Because one block does a cushion, it does the front of something, it does a table runner, or whatever you want to do. It doesn't always have to be a quilt. I think sometimes when people hear the word quilting, they run, oh, no, 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 no. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And it really doesn't have to be. I have to say, the first time I looked at quilting, I thought, oh gosh, now this needs someone who is degree trained, has amazing concentration, 4 pairs of glasses, some kind of really kind of mathematical degree, and of course is an absolute expert with a sewing machine, you know, has run up their own clothes for the last 30 years. The truth is not. And actually the truth is that products like this come along because quilting has become a lot more popular. Everyone's getting back into sewing because we've all got a lot more time on our hands. So we're all going back and we're going, oh, actually, you know, I remember actually I used to sit with my nan and she used to show me how to use the sewing machine and blah, 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 blah. And of course, it always used to be about make, do, amend. A lot of sewing was all about make, do, amend, wasn't it? Whereas these days you think, oh, actually, you know, I could be making my own things with the fabrics that I want to use, with the colours that I want them to be, instead of having to almost be a slave to what's available commercially out there. You can be, you know, the master or mistress of your own destiny, which is brilliant. Now, right, okay, so what we're looking at right now... Oh, okay, stop the world, everyone. Derek's finally caught up. So actually, we've got a bundle which is... Sorry, did you say that, Molly, to me? Oh, did you say that, Ross, as well? Sorry. Right, I didn't realise, sorry, Hayley, that we had a bundle for the mock-a-block system and the dies together. How clever. Of course, the two go together so beautifully. Sorry, I thought we were always dealing with them as independent entities, but you can bring them together. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, that's amazing. Considering, and I'll just tell you for nothing, that I have previously, in another life, in some other missionary work I've done along the way, sold a quilt set, a complete quilt set of designer fabrics, so just the fabrics and the pattern, for, I think it was somewhere in the region of... Well, I've certainly sold them between £400 and £700 each for a quilt kit. Now, obviously, a lot of that is, you know, down to fabric and designer or prowess and everything else. It's like, you know, it's like going from own brand kind of supermarket range to top of the shop high designer. But you can pay a heck of a lot for somebody else's quilt kit that you can actually design yourself here. Everything you need is here, and it's under £100. So, actually... You know, sometimes when you venture into a new craft of some sort, you think, oh, well, hang on a minute, there's 26 machines that I'll have to buy, and then I need this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And yes, you are going to need other bits and pieces, probably that you've got in your life one way or the other anyway. But actually, if you want to get into quilting, this is a very, very easy and simple way of making those first steps into it, isn't it?
I think, if I remember rightly, the saving that you get from the one-day special is carried forward, so that £5 saving is on the one-day special plus the mock-up, so it works out a little bit more than it looks on the screen.
Brilliant, I love it. Actually, there's another why not kind of opportunity as well. If you're not yet a Freedom member, it's kind of worth doing it, isn't it? Remember, it pays for itself in 2 orders anyway. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. Right, OK. So take us from the top, if you will, Hayley. No
problem at all. Now, the dies themselves will work through any die-cutting machine. John Lockwood has got a whole plethora of different machines. Some mechanical ones that you have to turn with your hand, some of them that are electronic, and that's the one that I'm working with, the electric one here. And this is the Go Power, which I know we haven't got in stock at the moment, but you can get hold of that. And you can always invest in a second-hand die-cutting machine, or potentially borrow one from somebody as well. But I think it's one of those things that when you do actually get involved with it, you will want to go in whole and both feet, so to speak. So I've got the platform that you have with your machine already set up. So you find your own manufacturer's instructions with regards to actually using your multimedia dies, but I found the perfect combination for my machine, and this is utilising a platform that I had from a previous die cutting machine, a magnetic sheet which I've popped down that keeps the dies in place, and then I've got the metal plate and also the C plate that come with the machine as well, so I'll use those in a few moments. Now, what you can do, I mentioned about using 6 layers of fabric at the same time, so I've got these fabrics, I've just trimmed them to, I think it's about 5 inches there or thereabouts, and what I've done is I've paired the fabrics up, so I've kind of thought a little bit ahead to think, well, when I put these fabrics together, these pieces, if you mimic that, I want to have my dark fabric and my light fabric, and I'm going to put them face together, because this actually cuts out where you're having to kind of match all your pieces together and pin them together and all that kind of thing. So we've got 1 set of 2 there, so that's 2 layers, 2 sets of 2, 4 layers, 3 sets of 2, 6 layers. And you can see there, I've laid out my dies. I'm not going to use any tape. You can use tape if you prefer. If I was taking them any closer, I probably would use tape. So I'm being quite frugal with my fabrics here, but it's just to give you an idea. And you'll notice as well, I haven't actually trimmed my fabrics down. It's do as I say and not do as I necessarily do with this one. So, yeah, if you want to trim them off to your A4 sheet, you can do. I don't like to cut my fabrics any more than I need to, because each time you're cutting it, I think you're ending up with waste, and I don't like having too much waste whenever I'm working with anything. So metal plate's going to go on top because the dies are going to cut into the metal, and then we've got it all ready to go through the die cutting machine. So all I'm going to do is take it over to my machine, press the button. In fact, I'll bring it in a little bit closer.
Can I just say, before this goes in, that looks like the impossible dream. Because you think, doesn't it? Because you think, hang on a minute, you've got several dies in there, you've got 6 layers of fabric. Let's watch, because seeing is believing, isn't it?
Well, you notice you don't get any cracking noise. Now, the reason I haven't got the cracking noise, or a very small amount there, is because I've got 6 layers of fabric. To be honest, I could have put more layers through. I have cut up to 8. Some fabrics, if they're a lighter weight fabric, you can go even further. But often that nasty cracking noise and that almost loud bang when it comes out of the machine is because of the pressure of everything that's in there. And what you can find with fabric is if you're putting too much pressure on there, it can actually kind of have an issue with regards to the kind of the fabric itself. It will wrinkle it up in the same way as it can do with paper and card. So I don't over-egg the pudding, so to speak.
Yeah, no, which is sensible.
And it also means that your plates and everything don't warp as much, because it's the pressure that's making the plates warp.
That explains a few things.
So there you go. So
I'll say no more.
Sometimes it's good to say, oh yeah, you could put 15 layers of fabric through and all this, which is brilliant. But at the end of the day, if it's going to kind of affect everything else, then it's false economy.
Not worth it, yeah.
So let's see how we get on. So taking away the excess. There you go. Now you might find a couple of little nicks as you go. It depends on fabric. Fabrics have got a different kind of weave to them. Occasionally you might have just a little tiny bit that you just need to disconnect there. But you can see pretty much all of those have cut out. And again, it's just that little tiny one that's got a little tiny nick there. So it's just to separate those
Considering that's 6 dies, 6 times 6. So that's, I mean, like, that's blinding in terms of demonstration, isn't it?
Okay, so let's cut all these out. Now you will notice that you have kind of got an embossed line on there. Don't worry about that. As soon as you start actually ironing your fabrics, then those will start disappearing. But straight away, I've cut all these pieces of fabric. But the most important thing is I'm just going to move them to the side there to give us a little bit of an area, because we are going to need quite an area, because when you start laying these out and start thinking about the next stage, which is stitching them together, first of all, they're ready in their pairs, so I can take those straight to my machine and stitch them. Whereas if I cut them in 2 different parts of fabric, I'm then having to marry them together, which is okay, it's not the end of the world. But when we start putting them together, now I'm going to overlap them slightly, just so you can kind of get an idea of when you put your seam in place, just to show you the kind of area that you are covering with these fabrics, because obviously these are going to butt up. You're going to stitch them together, you're going to make your little patches, and they're going to come together. So there you go, instantly we have got there our row of 3. So we're making...
that's in one. That's in one pass.
That's one.
Through your die cutting machine.
Then you keep going. This might take us a little while to do this because there's a lot of pieces of fabric. But I'm not going to stitch them together because you know about the stitching together.
Yeah.
And it's all about the cutting, to be honest. So again, I'm just lining these up because, of course, when they go through the machine, your sewing machine, they would be crossing over slightly, making up those squares. So it's kind of mimicking the size of the block that you're going to be creating with these. And of course, you would lay them out and stitch them together in the same way as your design is. Then we've got your quarter square triangles, which are your little triangles, as I say. And again, these are all ready to go. So again, I could just separate those up, chain piece them together, off you go, and they're all done. But again, these are now perfectly sized because these are going to work. Whoops a daisy, if I can actually get them. So these are going to work. So if I did that one there, that would marry up against that one. That one would go down the side there. That one would go across the bottom potentially. Again, depends on the way that you've actually done your design. And there you go, you can see. I have still got all of these to lay out. Do you want to do a bit of a recap while I sort these out?
I tell you what, for me, this is about, I always want, as you always want, the best value for money in absolutely everything you buy in your crafting, because you know you buy a lot of it. You might do several crafts. So you might do a bit of papercraft and a bit of fabric and a bit of multimedia and a bit of, you know, something else, embroidery, toy making. There are a million things that we can be doing, as we know. And of course, every day we show you some new things, so that we're always adding to that list. So I always want to make sure, if I'm going to make an investment, and I'm fairly new to buying dies, and I've got lots and lots of paper cutting dies and love them, and I think actually for anyone looking at this, I think you want maximum value for money. If you think, and you work with fabric already, if you think of the efficiency that this gives you straight away, because you know what, the first time you make that successful block by using a system like that, that would have paid for itself in terms of satisfaction straight away. And that will give you the confidence to say, oh, well, it didn't take me 3 months to get to that first cushion cover, so now I've had my first victory. Come on, bring it on, let's do it. You'll then go and find lots and lots of other fabrics, and you'll say, well, if I can manage a cushion cover, then I can manage a table runner. And then if I can manage a table runner, well, maybe I could do a lap quilt. And then if I can do a lap quilt, and that's turned out all right, well, actually, come on, let's do it. Let's design a quilt completely. And that's why I think it's great to have the mocker block as well on your side as well, particularly if you're new to it. But if you think about how efficient these are, just in terms of numbers of dies as well, because remember, for each of the shapes, there's more than one die. So I'll just go through it very, very quickly again. So you've got the 2 square dies there and the 2 half-square triangles. So remember, 6 layers of fabric through each, and 6 is being conservative, but as you can see from Hayley cutting there, it worked, and it worked straight away first time, and it means that you can piece everything together straight away. And if you're clever, as Hayley was, and I'll never get my head around quite how she did that, but by putting the pieces together, the right sides together, you can cut your pieces in such a way that you don't even have to remarry them again. You can just literally take those from the cutting machine to the sewing machine. That's genius. That might be stage 3, to be honest. That might be coming back to this show several times. Here are your other dies as well. So you've got your quarter squares and your quarter square triangle dies there. But remember, for each shape, on these, you're talking 4 dies. So 4 times 6, think times 6 every single time in terms of layer of fabric. And then you've got your half square rectangles and your rectangles as well. It just makes sense. And it is, we were saying this before, it's all about finding the best way for you, and don't think about this simply as a fabric die, because it's not a fabric die. So if you want to run your regular paper die, you want your regular papers through this, you can, but you can also go through grey board, you can go through things that are much more substantial, you can also go through other materials that are much thicker, that are much denser, that you might be using in your multimedia work, that you might be using in your card making as well. So you think about numbers of dies and how many times you are going to be using them, definitely. That price tag, I think, is excellent for that, don't you? £69.94, or you break that down into 2 flexes of £34.97. Now, for those of you who are definitely saying, right, OK, maybe you've even done a small fabric kit of some sort and run that through the sewing machine and thought, OK, I've done that, I think I can tackle this quilting business. This could not be a bigger helping hand in your quilting journey, because quilting can be quite, it can be like sitting down to the Times crossword, even tackling a quilt pattern of somebody else's. I think even for those people who are getting to know quilt patterns, that the mocker block will be brilliant, because if following somebody else's pattern is great, but surely it's even greater if you create your own.
And it might be that you're wanting to create it for a specific theme. I mean, obviously you saw the arrows feature in there, but you can get quite creative with your fabrics. I mean, you can even kind of put them together. If I very quickly show you that one there, you can create like a house with them.
Beautiful.
Or it might be that you're wanting to create letters with them. It doesn't matter, whichever way you put these together. And of course, you've got the ability to do your 16 patches, which is where you've got your 4x4. But playing around with the different sizes, you can get all sorts of different results. That is actually the block for the quilt that's behind you, just under the cushion that's got the house on it. So you can see when you start putting them together and you start incorporating your own fabrics. And I've had people contact me and say, "Oh, have you got the pattern for that quilt?"
Yes.
And it's like, well, yeah, it's just one of those.
Yeah.
I made a block.
See, the funny thing about quilting as well is you need to get your head around it, because actually what you think the shapes are going to be that you cut out to make a block are nothing like what you end up cutting up. So that's the thing, isn't it? You often needs demystifying, because every block you need to break down into its patches and work out, OK, so even though this, for instance, is a straight line across there. So is it just a square of that fabric with a rectangle of that fabric over the top? No, because that would be a waste of fabric, wouldn't it? That's 2 pieces patched together and sewn together to make that one patch. which then makes the blocks as well. Now, we've got a finished sample VT as well to show you as well. I don't know what that means. Let's have a look. That means... Bless me, I was talking all over that and you didn't hear a word of it. I didn't realise that. I know. That was the BAFTA award-winning narration there and you didn't even hear it. Anyway, there you go. There you go. Never stop making silly moments in your career all these years later. Right, OK. So, we're going to have a little... Are we going to have a little review of everything? Oh, we're going... Right, OK. Now, this I love. Now, I've seen this once before, this little combo, and for anyone that quilts, and you may have lots and lots of different quilting rulers in your life, because there are a heck of a lot that you can buy. There are strip cutters and there are rulers of every description. Some fold up into 4 and 5 and 6 and whatever. This is really, really clever, because these... Are amazing, I have to tell you. And when I say amazing, and I know I use that word a lot, but these seriously are amazing, because if you want simplicity for cutting, then this is definitely what you need. Hayley, can I just ask you to talk us through...
Yeah, not a problem at all.
This one here first, because I understand these two, but...
Not a problem.
But
now,
this one here.
The taller ruler, basically I wanted to simplify rulers, because there are a lot of quilt rulers out there.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say this is the only quilt ruler that you ever need, because you always buy different ones.
Yeah,
I use other longer ones and all sorts.
Yeah.
But what I was finding when I was getting started with my quilting, there's a lot of lines on quilt rules, because you've got things like your 1/4 inch, then you might have your 16ths, you might have your 8ths on there. Again, we're talking about all that jargon that's so baffling. But it's also a case of sometimes it's difficult to see where you need to line it up.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is kind of strip it back to a simplified ruler, which is what you've got there. So you've got your inch markings in red. You've also got your markings there, your inch markings in black.
In black,
your,
yeah.
1/4 inch in red. So you've still got your 1/4 inch, your 1/2 inch, your 3/4 inches. And you've got a nice size ruler to trim your fabrics down, ready for you to start working with the other dies and the other rules that come in this set. You've also got your 45-degree angle at the top of it, which means when you come to create your bias binding or your strips and you need to join your fabrics, you've got the right angle size there to actually put your fabrics together to keep a continual run. And that was like, well, we don't need two ends that look like a straight edge. Let's do something with the other end that we've got, which is why I put that angle on there as well. So this is for kind of getting your fabrics ready to use with the other elements that you've got. So the next one that you've got is your patchmaker square.
This I love.
Now this one I will show you in action in a few moments, and this enables you to cut out your patch pieces, whether it's your squares, your large triangles or your small triangles, because of course we're keeping the jargon out of it for the time being. And what that means is you can use this one ruler to cut out 3 different sizes of 3 different kind of elements for your patches. So there's a lot of content within there, and it's probably easier for me to show you that one in action in a little while.
And I tell you what, the great thing about that, and it's such the simplest thing as well, and I'll never stop saying this, is that the instructions are on the ruler rather than you having to go to a separate booklet and read, and you're trying to refer that back to this. You don't have to do it at all. You've also got the binding square as well. This, again, is absolute genius. If you want to make fast binding, then this... And I can't believe how simple this is, and I can't believe that I've never seen this kind of thing before, because I've seen other tools that make binding, and to be honest, they look quite complicated, and they needed quite a lot of advanced work. This one, and I know I know this is really, really getting noticed as well, far and wide. Lots of people are noticing this and saying, "Oh gosh, is it really that simple to be able to make your own binding?" Because quite often, when you want to buy binding, it's never in the colour you want. Or, you know, it's just you've got to make some compromise. And this allows you to choose any fabric and make your own binding as long as you like. And this would make a never-ending binding as well.
If you wanted
could
to, yes.
go for miles with this. You really, really could. But very, very simply, and that's a good thing. This is one of the best buys, I think, if you work with fabric, you could possibly treat yourself to. 078331 is the item number. £20, even comes in its own little Ziploc case, but you'll have those out on your desk all the time. What I would do is get one of those ruler stands as well, which you can find very, very easily, just so that they're in your eye line as well. They are brilliant. And you're going to show us these,
I am indeed. But before that, it's took me so long to put my patches out. You can have a look at them first.
We got
there.
there.
Because I'm not clearing them away until you see them.
Love it.
So these are those patches that we cut out using the dies. You can see there the holes. And, of course, I could just pop that fabric through again and replicate that size square. And then, of course, the beauty is then when you're stitching it together, you're making your project. And it could be that you're making something like a place setting or something. So these are using different styles. This was just using squares, incidentally. But it just shows you how quickly those elements come together to create. But we're going to get rid of those now. So let's move those out of the way.
That was fun.
I'll put those into my scrap box, because what I do tend to do is I use my scraps and I'll sit in an evening, because I can't just sit and watch the TV and do nothing. So I'll sit there quite quietly with my die cutting machine, cutting out my pieces, and then I pop them all into my deflecto here. So I've got all those pieces that I've cut out that I can kind of do like a mismatch or a scrappy quilt with, because these are all die cut and ready to go. So when I have the opportunity to sit down and sew, I've got pieces already there, ready to go.
Lovely fabrics in there, by the way.
So the binding square. Now, the binding square I'm going to start with, and then we'll go on to the patchmaker afterwards. Because, like you say, this is the one that's really, really caused this.
Oh, it's genius.
So, what you've got with your patchmaker... Now, what did I do with my fab? Well, let me bring that in, just so you can see the markings on there nice and clearly. So, it's actually a square that is 3.5 inches square. So you could actually use it for your 3-inch patches, to kind of use it for kind of lining up and trimming off and making sure that you've got your patches are square before you start putting them together.
Yep.
But then you've also got these little slots. Now the idea is these slots will help you create your binding in a variety of different kind of styles dependent on what you want in. So again, I am terrible with instructions. 2 minutes after I've opened the box, I've lost them. So again, the instructions are already on here, and that's the key thing that I wanted to bring in. So you've got your slots, and you can see here it says it's your binding square, so you don't forget what it's actually for. Cut your fabric strips to double of the finished width. So what that means is, if you're wanting to create your finished width being 1 inch, you cut it to 2 inches. If you want it 2 inches, then you cut it to 4 inches, and so on, 3 inches, or however you want it to be. So I've already got some fabric here that I've cut, and I've cut this to, I think it was 3 inches, if I remember rightly. Yep, 3 inches.
Can I just ask a really silly question? I'm sorry, because it's almost a time-wasting question, but... So, the binding...
That goes around the edge, yeah?
Yeah. Do I need to measure... If I want to know what my finished binding size is... I have to work out how much I want to overlap on each side.
Basically, it's the bit that you're going to see. So the bit that you'll see on the front plus the bit that you'll see on the back.
Right, so when you say 3-inch bindings, that means 1.5 inch on this side and 1.5 inch on the back. Right, okay, got it. Thank you.
And that's the bit that you can see that's not taken into consideration, the dreaded seam allowance.
Right.
But yeah. So with this one, it'll end up being 1 inch finished, which means I'll have half an inch on the front of my quilt and half an inch on the back of my quilt.
So I need 2-inch strip first.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
Except I've forgotten I've done it to 3 inches, so it's going to be 1.5 inches. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway.
That's fine.
But yeah, you'll have half on the front, half on the back.
Yeah.
So the way that it starts off is you cut your fabric, and if it's a case of that you need it for a particular length to go around your quilt, then just do your measurements, and then obviously you can use your mitre to make it as long as you need it to be. But I'm just using with kind of a strip here. I think it was the width of the fabric. So start off with, you bring the 2 edges of your fabric together, like so. So they meet in the middle, and it doesn't have to be very much of your fabric there. And you're just literally giving that a little press there, just to keep that in place, just to get it started. So what you do then is you bring it to your binding rule, and you find the measurement that you're working with. So mine is going to be 1.5 inches finished. So I'm going to bring it up the slot which is closest to the centre, and down the slot which is furthest away. Now, I always have it with the open edges facing up. Some people prefer to do it the other way around, but I like to have it facing up. And then you just need to secure your fabric in place. Just a couple of little pins, Sometimes people use fork pins with these because you kind of got double heads with those. And you can instantly start moving that ruler, and even with a bit of friction heat, it will start laying down those seams. But the idea is, or the folds should I say, the idea is that the iron can actually go right up against there. Now, be careful of your pins, because I can't guarantee that your pins won't melt if your iron goes near them. But what I can guarantee is that your ruler won't. So, left hand, because I'm right-handed, I just I put my finger between those and kind of make a little pocket there, almost making it into the right shape to make my binding. And then I keep my eye on the horizontal line there, and I run that along my fabrics. Doesn't matter if you deviate a little bit, because these are the raw edges, so you don't necessarily see those. But you can see as I'm passing the iron over, what I'm creating is my bias tape there, perfectly pressed, perfectly the right colour to work with my quilt that I'm creating. And then I can fold it over and I can press it again if I'm wanting it to be narrower. I can actually feed it through again. Now, when you actually get to the point where you've run out of fabric, then you just move it along, put your pins back in place, and again start off again, just guiding it and passing it through. So again, that's why it's caused such a stir, because it is just something that makes life so much easier.
It's so simple, and to be able to do so many different sizes, because you know, there are larger companies, and you know, and God love them and good on them, because for every different size of tape, they'll give you a different tool to do that with. So this is one tool which does multiple sizes of tape as well, which I think is really good. It's so clever. If you think about it, and you think about its simplicity, it's genius. Absolute genius.
And I know that some people have asked, oh, can I get hold of the binding square by itself? Well, the thing is, with the binding square on its own, or the patchmaker, I think it worked out, it's going to be about £10 for the binding square on its own, about £12 for the patchmaker, and then I think it's going to be at least £15 for the larger ruler. So they were able to bring them all together for £20. Now, you would normally have, it would usually be, I don't know, £35, £40 or whatever the price, and then you've got a discounted price on it. But because we haven't got them available individually, they all came as a bundle. We can't actually show you that. But if they were split up, you would be paying way more than that you are paying for these.
Well, I've sold quilting rulers in the past, and I'm sure you've got quilting rulers if you work with fabric that can be £70, £80, £100 just for one quilting ruler. So actually, to have these three very valuable tools, and very handy tools as well, because if you're working on a smaller scale, you'll realise that sometimes you buy a larger quilting ruler, and that's great for cutting big things. And then when you get down to the kind of scale that you need for your patches, for your blocks, you kind of think, hang on a second, I'm wrestling with something that's huge here, and I'm working with something that's tiny. So you want tools that actually are in scale with what you're working on, that can sit on your desk as well. And they explain themselves. They come with their own instruction manual written onto the ruler.
Of course, we've got the patchmaker square, which is the other half of that set. Shall I quickly show you how that works?
Yeah, go for it,
Because it kind of all comes as part of that set. And again, it's another one that's really useful. Now, this one is your multi-tool, so you can see you've got your different lines on there as well. And with this one, if I pop it down again, basically, again, the instructions are pretty much on there. All you need to remember is that this point in this corner here needs to sit on the raw corners of your fabric, which I'll explain to you. So you can see 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, and you just decide which of those lines you're going to use as your guide, dependent on whether you're cutting a square, your large triangles, or your small triangles. And you can see there the little arrow is pointing you. It is so simple and easy, because I wanted it to have all the instructions on the piece there.
Well, the other thing with this, Hayley, as well, is it's not trying to be a ruler at the same time.
No.
Because quite often, things that try to help you are also being something else at the same time, I have learnt. So although it might have guidance for something, or it might have this line marked on it, or that line marked on it, you think, yeah, but you've got all of your inch markers there as well, and actually that muddies the water sometimes a little bit, doesn't it?
Very much so. Now I'm just going to run that fabric there just to trim that off. Oh, didn't quite catch that bit there. So the key thing is you need a nice, neat, right-angled edge. So I've actually cut my fabric. I've trimmed it there. I should have pressed it a little bit more than I have done there. Basically, what you do is you take your patchmaker square. As I say, you decide which of those lines you're wanting. Now, where's the best position? Should we say about there? So let's start off with our quarter square triangles. So the quarter square triangles, what I'm going to do is I've got the line there for quarter square triangles. So I'm going to slide that down so it's on the edge of my fabric. And then again, on the left-hand side, I'm going to slide it across. So as I've got that corner with the little circle lined up on my very neat raw edges that I cut. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rotary cutter, keep that still, like so, put my hand on there, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away from me, as we always do. Now I'm going to cut just a little bit further than the rule itself, just so as I've got enough room for me to flip the fabrics out. I think I might need a new blade in my rotary cutter. And then you just go across, like so. I'll do 2 cuts just to make sure. So that now, that patch or that piece of fabric there is now the right size for me to actually take it to the machine and then start stitching to make my quarter square triangles or my small triangles. So you'd usually do your horizontal, diagonal line, wouldn't you? And then you'd have your stitch line either side of those. And you're basically making those to make your little patches that I showed earlier on, which I've now lost. But yeah, you put them together to make your little triangles. But that particular ruler will allow you to do your larger triangles as well. So bringing the fabric back in again, bringing the ruler back in, and then I'm going to bring it to the half square triangle line. So this time I'm going to put it further down like so into the corner there. Again, get that right angle corner, and again cut it in exactly the same way as I did. So I'm going to cut away from me, a little bit beyond where I need to be, flip the fabrics over, and then cut horizontally as well there. No, I haven't. I think I do need a new blade. It's all right, Molly's just saying I've got a double blade. I managed to actually, the last show that we had, I got 2 rotary cutting blades in there at the same time.
Did you?
Because they've got a little bit of oil with them, haven't they, when you actually buy them brand new?
And
they
it
stick
will
together.
fit as well, won't it?
So there you go. So now I've got those, so as I can actually come across now, and in the same way as you can do whichever technique you choose, I could cut them on the diagonal if I wanted to.
Yeah.
In the same way as the quarter squares, I could cut those as well if I wanted to, and then take them to the machine and stitch them. But then I've got my pieces there, which obviously if I've got 2 different types of fabric, I would put them together, stitch along that line there, and there you go. Then I've got my 3-inch patch ready to go into my quilt.
So again, it's another time saver, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's another, but again, it's one of those things that I think as well with quilting, you need to feel like you understand what you're doing as you go through. Do you know what I mean? Because you can hear all of this language about quarter square triangles and half square triangles, but unless that sits in there and equates to what you're doing, doesn't really. It feels like you're trying to follow someone else rather than creating your own thing, doesn't it? And that's why this bundle is genius. Really, really good. Right, £20 for that. It's massively popular. I'm not surprised. It is every single time we bring it, because it's just, do you know what? It's the simplest things sometimes, but they're laid out in a way that you just think, why didn't I think of that? Why wasn't it not me who invented that? Because it is so simple. 078331, lots of you checking out on that one on the website right now. Talking to the website, let's have a little look, because there's lots of other bits and pieces there as well. There are... Oh, there's all sorts. There's some fabric in there as well, if you would like. Some pre-wound bobbins there. You've also got an erasable pens bundle. You will need erasable pens as well. You've got specialised feet there. Free motion sewing foot, which once you get to grips with free motion quilting, you'll be like, whoa, off we go. It's like passing your driving test and having that first drive out on your own when you start free motion quilting. It's brilliant. Quilters gloves are there. There's zip bundles in there, and you've got some fabric freedom bundles in there as well. So check those out and shop ahead of us there. So that's nice, actually, isn't it? Very, very nice. Quick recap then on the one-day special, which are your fabric cutting dies / multimedia dies, because they will go... Ah, right, OK, 40% of the one-day special stock has sold out already. Not surprised at all, because these are so versatile. Even if you don't work with fabric, these are absolutely brilliant to have. But if you do work with fabric, the ability to go through 6 layers at the same time and have more than one die at the same time. You know what it's like? I mean, sometimes you might get a multimedia die. You might have had those before, but you can just get one shape. You get one shape and you get one die of each. With these, you've got multiple, 17 dies there. So you've got 2 of the half square rectangles, 3 of the rectangles there, 4 of the quarter square triangles and 4 of the quarter square dies as well. Plus, you've got your 2 square and 2 half square triangle dies as well. All of that for £69.64. Bear in mind that every time you look at one die, multiply it by 6, because you're going through 6 layers of fabric at the same time. So if you've got 4 of those down, then you've got 24 pieces of fabric being cut at the one time, which is genius. Especially, maybe you don't like rotary cutters. Maybe rotary cutters are not for you. I mean, this is brilliant as an alternative. We have got the bundle as well, which brings in the mocker block as well. So if you want to design your own quilts, if you just want to get your head around the maths of how much fabric am I going to need, what do I need to cut to make a block that I design, it's absolutely brilliant. It comes with this looks like, you know, like science homework. It's not. It's really, really simple because it just does everything so easily for you. Because it even gets your head around the fact that if you're new to quilting, what's the difference between a patch and a block? That really does sort it out. And you can make different sizes as well. So you can go up from a 9 patch block up to a 16 patch with this as well, which is really, really good. And all the most popular shapes, all of these half square triangles and whatever. So when you hear when you hear flying geese and all of these other terms that are used in quilting, you can make all of these with the shapes that you've got with your mocker block. It's superb. Puts the power in your hands. Now that's the bundle of the mocker block with the dies, with the one-day special dies as well. So it's an amazing buy to be able to split that down to 2 payments of less than £50. Again, is really good. I say way less than £50, 42.47 on 2 flexes there. It's so good, Hayley, doesn't it? And it just makes you happy as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Another, very quickly, I'm going to have a little chat with you, but I'll show you do something at the same time. I've just basically taken some of those dies, run them down the middle there, using your 2.5-inch strips. We're all familiar with these, aren't we? Popping those down in place, and then I'm just going to run those through and make more of those little pieces that we will at 12 o'clock be looking at potentially putting together to make a little scrappy piece and maybe do a bit of a plique. But again, just taking it to your machine, pressing on the run button on this particular opportunity, passing those through. You can hear a little bit of cracking on this occasion. That depends on your fabrics, depends on the density of the fabrics, the thickness of your fabrics, and how many layers you've got in there. I think I've got 6 layers with these. Passing those through, as I say, do as I say, not do as I do. Trim your fabrics down to fit your mat. But you can see when you actually pass your mat through, they just fold through anyway, like so. And again, there, quickly and easily and quietly, you are creating your patch pieces there from your strip rolls. All you need to do is make sure on that one I didn't line it up quite right there, but you can see there all of these pieces ready now for me to actually put together in a quilt and start creating a little scrappy quilt with those if I so choose.
Lovely. Well, this time you've got 3 hours to put all of that together before we come back for the next show. Well, I say 3 hours.
Well, yes,
but
I've got a busy day.
You and I are back at 10.
We are,
aren't
with
we?
the silhouette, the portrait 3.
With silhouette, yeah, so it's something completely and utterly different. So you've actually only got an hour. Anyway, it's fine, it'll all come together. Please make sure you check out your baskets. It's brilliant, and I would urge anyone you know that works with fabric, that does sew, that has done a little bit of patchwork or whatever it might be, direct them to this show on the rewind as well, if there's not got a chance to be with us right now, because again, these tools, again, it's all about making life simpler, isn't it? And it's about making it simpler in the simplest ways as well, and that's why I love Hayley. She's an absolute genius coming up with things like this. It's brilliant. Make sure you check out your baskets, and we'll be back with more at midday. Plenty more between now and then, of course. We've got the jewellery box coming up after the break. Then Hayley and I back again with the silhouette in an hour's time. And there's so much more this Tuesday here on Hochanda. Stay right where you are.
Exciting news! For the 5th year in a row, Hochanda has been awarded the top accolade of Platinum Trusted Service Award from Feefo. These awards recognise businesses that deliver exceptional experiences as rated by you, our customers. And we're honoured to have been selected. The Trusted Service Award means you can shop with confidence, based on the reviews from over 60,000 Hochanda customer experiences. Thank you for your independent reviews. It means a lot to us. Did you know you can watch Hochanda 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for free using our app on Roku? Just like your smartphone accesses an app store to add new applications, your Roku streaming player or Roku TV accesses the Roku channel store to add new channels. By downloading the Hochanda channel, you'll be able to access your favourite craft channel on your TV anytime you want to watch. Here's how to do it. Turn on your TV and connect your Roku device. Next, turn the power on and press the home button on your Roku remote. Scroll up or down to select settings. Select your network and select Setup Connection. Roku uses a wireless connection, so select your router name and add your password. This should be on the side or the bottom of your router. If this is the first time using Roku, then you'll need to set up an account on the device or by going to the Roku website. That's it. Now it's time to add the Hochanda app. Simply press the home button on the Roku remote. Scroll up or down using the arrows on your remote to select streaming channels. Then open the channel store. At the top of the channel store, you'll find a list of featured, new and popular categories to explore. Enter Hochanda into the search bar and this will take you to the Hochanda app. Now simply select Add Channel. When you see the added channel screen, press OK and return to the home page. Now scroll down to the Hochanda app and press the star button on your remote. You can then use the arrow buttons to move Hochanda to the top of the screen for quick and easy access. And that's it. You can now watch, purchase and catch up with your favourite shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on your TV whenever you feel crafty.
Hi, I'm Nikki Hassan. I've been working with Heartfelt Creations for about 9 years now. Heartfelt Creations as a company launched the company back in 1994. They have been in the industry for a very, very long time. They are crafters, so they know what you crafters want and they listen to us crafters too. So I hope you can join Heartfelt Creations here on Hochanda.
Hi, I'm Lou from Studio Light. Studio Light has been around for about 40 years now. They're based in the Netherlands. It's a family-run business with a great heritage. The products that Studio Light bring us are very diverse, fantastic dyes, great papers, but all round on trend. Over the 40 years Studio Light have evolved. They listen to me, the demonstrator, and you, the customers, and really take our ideas on board. On the Hochanda shows, we'll share with you the diverse techniques and products will inspire you to produce your own individual pieces of artwork. So make sure you don't miss the Studio Light shows on Hochanda.
Hi, I'm Charmaine from Dolly Dimples and I've been crafting since I was a little girl and I have a massive passion for anything crafty related. Dolly Dimples is a fictional character in Dolly Dimples Town. There's whimsical characters, fantasy characters, mythical characters. There's so much going on, so much happening in Dolly Town and it's a fun place to be in. Our products are all hand-drawn. That makes them quite unique because you've got that quirkiness about them. We have decoupage, backing papers, we have templates for 3D objects, stencils in the mix, we have dies and lots of other things coming to you soon. Make sure you tune in for the Dolly Dimple shows on Hochanda and have some fun.
Yes, indeed, a very good morning to you. The time has just struck 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. And where else would you be? Still snowing. It's been snowing like this now since November, out of these windows. Can't get out of nothing. We are, well, let's break this down for you. We are now going to look at a craft that you can lose yourself in for days. You really can. Are you a card maker that's frustrated of making cards? Oh, sound like an infomercial. Look at makeup. Are you a clay maker, if one of them exists, that wants to find another hobby because you're sick of making clay sculptures day after day after day? Are you a sewer that knows your way around a needle? Or maybe beadwork is the way for you. I like that introduction. And I'm not alone. No, I have a fellow Brummie-ish. She's moved away now. Fellow Brummie in the house. Our Rachel's here. How are you, Rachel?
What a lovely welcome.
Well, you know.
I'm good, thank you, Adam. How are you?
I'm very well, very excited because we've never worked together before.
We haven't.
First of all, I went very high pitched then. Let's go all the way back. I said I wouldn't, but I'm going to change the script.
That's
I'm going to ignore all this. How did you get into bead making? Well, like the craft that you do today, let's say.
Let's say I've always had a passion for jewellery because my gran used to live near the jewellery quarter in Birmingham.
I know it well.
And she used to work there.
Ah.
and it kindled in me that love for jewellery. So it was always there bubbling along the surface. And when I had a full-time job, I was working in finance, I decided to learn the craft, and I thought, I'd love to do this full-time. So gradually, over time, I managed to make it my full-time job, and it's not really a job, it's a passion. I love it.
And this is the thing, and everything that you're bringing us today, I'll ask all the questions now. Everything you bring us today, are we talking beginner friendly? Because I've never tried beadwork before. I know my one viewer has never tried beadwork before either. Could we get these kits home today and have finished samples that we are sitting in the studio?
Absolutely. So we've got from bead embroidery, which is very different to embroidery, but where we're sewn onto a foundation. You just need to be able to thread your needle, which I've had a few problems with while we're live, but generally threading the needle is absolutely fine. So threading a needle, it's great for beginners. Some of the projects vary from being quite quick to having some that you break into bite-sized chunks where you sit in front of the telly with your cuppa. But most definitely the beadwork kits and the bead embroidery have everything in there, photographed and written instructions as well. And you can follow me on a Thursday. I do free tutorials on Facebook, so if you want a little bit more...
Give yourself a plug. I know you want.
I know.
Go on. Where do we find you?
Facebook, Beads by Virchil.
There you go. But another question... There's no management in today, we can get away with it. Another question I've got. Maybe I'm not a brooch wearer. As a man, we don't really wear brooches, but I really like the beads. So can we take your designs and adapt them for other things?
Absolutely. So I always like, if people have seen my creations on Hochanda before, I always like to look at the bigger picture as to what else we can use these for. So if I can just show you.
Yeah, of course you can.
So this is it's a bag that I've made from one of So Totally Tricia's kits.
If you bring it in front of you and face it you, we'll get it on the overhead camera because we've got no cameras over with you at the moment.
Like that?
Perfect. There we go. Here it comes.
So you can, if you're a sewer and you're looking, perhaps you make bags and you want to enhance them with something a bit unique. What I've done on this is I've just glued on a little bail. That's what we call it. That's in one of the booster kits. And I've popped it on a little keyring clip. So that's one of your options. You could even, if you're a card maker, you could even perhaps use some of your die cuts and make a picture, frame it, sort of have one of the nice fancy outlines, or if you perhaps like doing watercolours. I know Lou was selling watercolours in the previous show, that you could enhance it with some watercolour backgrounds as well, or for a child's room.
Nice.
This one, I'm never quite sure which way. That's backwards, isn't it?
There you go. Face it to you.
This is a book pillow that I've made, and these are pre-die cut that I've stitched some beads onto, and because it's got a brooch back, it's actually, you can pop it onto different things. So that's another option that you could look at as well, is popping it on your soft furnishings. You could even do them as curtain tie backs if you wanted to.
So there's lots of possibilities of where we can go with this as well. Right, and let me tell you the kits though, because we are very busy, busy. So the bee kits, we've got Albert Bee, we've got Victoria Queen Bee, you've got the new ones, the Sapphire and Ruby Queen Bees. So you've got the Sapphire at the top, and then you've got the Ruby. Shall I move it up? Let me move it up for you. Look, we'll put the new ones at the top. Now you've got the two new ones that are there. These are beautiful. Remember, beginner friendly. I know. Just look at them. They are beginner friendly. How beautiful are those? You're choosing one. Now you can either choose the one with the crown or without the crown. It's entirely up to you. So is the one without the crown Albert Bee?
It's Albert B, and when I did my last show with Hayley, we had people call in with name suggestions because they were nameless bees. They were Queen Bee and Bee. And one viewer, we've had a collapse bee. One viewer, thank you very much to the viewer that recommended we go for Victoria and Albert. So I think those two go together very beautifully.
They are stunning. They really are beautiful. And remember, everything's in the kit as well. So if you're gifting these, everything in the kit. Do we get enough beads in case we go awry?
Absolutely.
So we get enough beads in the kit to make one kit, and we'll have beads left over as well. You get things like the antennae, you get your little jewels and gems, you get your needle in there, you get all your threads in there as well. You also get your black felt to put on the back to make it look professional. You get your design that's also in there. So remember, you're sewing onto a design. This is not a pattern where you have to then get a fadable pen and then draw it all out. And then if you go wrong, you have to scribble that line out and make sure you write it. Nah, none of that. You're literally getting the designs already for you. You can get this home when Pop It In Pete drops this through your doormats. When it lands on there in 5 working days, you are good to go. You can get this out of the box and you can start. We like this, but then we've also got the booster kit on the show as well. So what would I do with the booster kit?
Okay, so the idea is you've made bee or queen bee, and you want to make more, but you've got your own bead stash, and you've got the pattern, and the pattern you can use for as many as you like. So the idea with the booster kit is that you've got 2 extra beading foundations.
Yeah.
You've got 2 backs on there. You've got beading needles. Now I've made the antennas. So the antennas are already in there, and you've got brooch backs. And I mentioned about the bails earlier on. Now bails were those glue-on items that you can then attach to your bags. So I popped a couple of bails in there as well. Now,
I love that. Now, you don't get instructions with these, though, do you?
There's no instructions, there's no beads. This really is a complement to the kits, so that you can make more, or possibly if you want to twin up with a friend online and make them.
Well worth having a look. You've got Bee and Queen Bee that's in there already. So I'm guessing they go... Do they go that way? Do you get one of each, one with the crown, one without the crown? Or is there 2 different options?
There's 2 different options. So 1 queen, 1 bee.
It's all in the prep pattern. £16 and 95 pence. I should have listened. So you get one with the crown, one without the crown. So you've got Queen Bee and Bee. £16 and 95 pence is what you're looking at. 753409 is your item number. Bracelets we're talking about next. I know, even the camera's got excited. Let's move on to our little bracelet, because we're not just talking bracelets again, are we? We are now talking decorations for around the home.
This is it. And, you know, Valentine's coming up. If you want a nice little candlelight dinner, you can make, from this pattern, you can also utilise it to make some little tea light covers, to make a candle cover. With the candle, I've just added some extra extender chain with it, so that you just literally clip it round. It's also a nice way of giving somebody a gift. You give them the candle, and you've got the bracelet that they can take off from the candle. So this is all done using needle and thread work as well. There's lots of different techniques with jewellery making, and this is one of many. And again, you've got all the written instructions. There's nothing else you need with this kit. And also you can adapt the size, because I find a lot of people struggle perhaps when they're buying jewellery to get it to fit. Either their wrist size is too small, or possibly that they're not big enough for them. So the idea with this is there's enough beads in the kit for you to custom make the bracelet to your own size.
Which is what we like. So you can go from a candle, because you also get the chain in there as well, so you can make it larger if you want, if you've got the larger wrists, all the way down to a tiny little tea light. Now, there are 4 options for you to choose from, and you can choose any 2. So we have got gold, which is this one just here. Gold. So you've got the gold. Then you've got the white and cream, which is... Oh, really? Which is this one just... Oh, which is this one just here. They look better on a skin, though. They look better on your skin tones. So there's your white with your pearl. Then we've got red and gunmetal, which is this one just here. So that's your, I like red and gunmetal. That's a nice, vivid colour.
I like the red and gunmetal.
Paola would wear that. She'd love that. From there, we've then got turquoise and cream down the front. This one just is. That
a very
is a turquoise
sunny
and cream.
bracelet.
It is. It would sort of go with anything as well, like costume jewellery. You could wear this for. From there, you've also got your black and grey, which is this one just half, which I also like. And it would also be nice just on a chain. Wear around your neck, so you've just got that bit of beadwork that goes down, and then you've got a larger chain, like a silver chain that goes around the back. I've just thought that now.
You could wear it as a choker. It probably wouldn't quite sit right if it was straight down, but you could certainly pop a little bit of chain at the back and have it as the choker. You could even pop a little pendant.
That'd be, well, you've even made little earrings.
Yes.
You could go for a full set. Now, do we get more in this kit? Could we make oh, I'm guessing we could. Could you make like a little a bracelet and a set of earrings, or could you only make a bracelet? Or if you obviously if you shrink it down like a candle, then you'd be able to make more.
It depends on the size of the wrist, but I have taken into account extra beads in there, so you should have enough to make some earrings as well.
It's good to know. £13.95 with a £5 saving. 175514 is your item number, is what you're looking at for that as well. And you get full instructions. Remember, you can't go wrong. Up next, this is our Lottie's favourite. I like this as well. You get both of these. I thought it was a pick and mix, but it's not. You get both of these in the kit. Now, this is the only kit that you will need tools for, and I've got tools on the show, and I was meant to tell you at the top, and I got all excited because Rach was there, that the tools, once the tools have gone, they have gone. I've got tools and I've got thread and scissors. Once they've gone, they've gone. I cannot bring them back. I've been told that already. That's the only thing they told me. From there, though, looking at the kits that we've got here, you've got your rose gold or gold... Rose gold, gold or silver is what you're looking at the moment. So, within these kits, are we looking beginning? Because when I look at these, I'm seeing like professional work here.
These are actually total beginners.
Give over.
Absolutely. So
well,
you can, and it's a great introduction to wire weaving. And I find, as I teach a lot, you do find that sometimes people struggle perhaps with pains in their hands. And what I've done is I've taken that into account with this, and the weaving wire, which is the wire that sort of makes all the curly bits and all the weave in the rows, is very soft and malleable. And the candle is just showing you how with lots of different orchids you can put them together to make a candle decoration. I've made some earrings as well that I'm wearing. I'll take those off camera later on and just show those. So again, once you've got the pattern, you can adapt it to different sizes as well.
It's absolutely beautiful. And to look at it, no way would you say they are beginner friendly. 230679 is your item number, £14.95. If you've got any questions this hour as well, please don't hesitate to email me, studio@hochanda.com, and we'll put your questions over to emails. We've had emails already from people that have done the kits, they're absolutely loving the kits, and they're going to buy more. We got some from Trisha. Here's one from Trisha. Trisha made this. Really enjoyed making it, she says. The instructions and photos were great, and you just need somewhere to wear it. Because it's a bit too posh for wearing around the supermarket.
Oh,
so
never
Tricia
too
says.
posh.
Never too
Never
posh.
too posh.
You'd be the best in the co-op, I would say. Best in the co-op. Do it. Do it. Wear your little bee. Wear it on your bobble hat. £14.95 is what you're looking at. Well, not for that. That's Trisha's. You can't buy Trisha's. She wants somewhere to go with it. Like it, though. I like it a lot. See? They are people like you, sitting at home now going, I'd like to give it a go, but I don't think I could do it. Trish, give it a go. She made one of the bees. She said it was quick, simple, easy. She said the instructions with the pictures and the words all go together, hand in hand. So give it a little go. Let's look at scissors. Up next is what we're looking at. Look how beautiful these little scissors are. The little stalk scissors is what you're getting. These are your stemless, I can't even say it. Embroidery scissors is what I was going to say. £9.99. Why do we need a set of good scissors for embroidery?
A set of good scissors for embroidery is really essential for when you've made your buzzy bee you will need to actually cut out the excess foundation before you glue on the backing. And if you're working with some of your kitchen scissors, for example, it's so easy to cut through all that thread work that you've done. So, which is always retrievable, but the small scissors just get round the nooks and crannies, round the crown, round the wings.
I like them. I really do, for £9.99. And I was just told the story in my ear of why they're a stalk as well. Midwives, apparently midwives used to use them.
Oh.
And that's what, and the stalk for a new baby, so that's why they're stalk shaped. I was just told that. See, they're quite knowledgeable here when they put their minds to it. £9.99, 922-504. Right then, tools for the job is what we need, and we've got all the tools that you're going to need here as well. Now, once these have gone, £23.95, and they're limited stock already. What I'm going to say is, if you're thinking £23.95, well, I never. You're investing. Once you've got them, you will never need to buy them again. Never. Long as you look after them, you'll never need to buy a set of these again. We are talking, we've got all bases covered with these tools, haven't we?
You've got everything covered in that. There's pliers that are called bent nose pliers. Now, some people use flat nose pliers. I use those in place of them because they get right in precision with your wire work. They're good for tucking in little bits that are sticking out. So you've got your chain nose pliers. Which ones have you got there? Oh, looping pliers. Those are for turning loops. And of course, you don't want your kitchen cutters. Those are your good set of cutters as well.
They are worth their weight in gold. And as I said, if you're a jewellery maker or you're just getting in, if you're like me and you're just starting a new hobby, you want the best tools for the job, because 9 times out of 10, I'm having a right morning. You want the best tools for the job, for the sheer fact that if you get the wrong tools for the job, you don't do the job correctly, and then you always think it's you that couldn't do it. Oh, I can't do jewellery making because I couldn't do it properly. It's 9 times out of 10, it's not you. It's the tools that you're using that enhance. Using the kitchen scissors and a pair of pliers that you found in his toolbox aren't going to work. Get your decent set of pliers. Now, I've literally learned super limited stock now. We had a vast amount of these and they are going quick. £23.95, 317-858 is your item number. Francis has been in touch. This is quick. This is her first ever beaded embroidery. It was a Christmas present and she was so delighted to be introduced to it. She absolutely adores it. She really, really does. The packs were clearly labelled, beautifully presented. The instructions were amazing and phenomenal with the photos inside. It's Honey the Hedgehog. Oh, look at Honey the Hedgehog. And that's her first bit of... What was her name? Francis? Yeah, Francis. That was our Francis. But look, well done, Francis. I may say that is absolutely beautiful. Press record now on your telly box just before it goes off your screen to say your work has been on the telly, and if you are going to sell it, you've got the details there. Look, £24.95 you can flog it for. Right then, let's go over to demonstration, because I think this is where the penny's going to drop once we see how easy it is to do. Right, and Rach, it's all yours.
Okay, well, I always like to start off by showing you what you actually get in the kit, because I know when I'm watching, I always like to have a sneaky peek in there and see what you're getting. So before I start, is it all right to do it on the overhead?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. So what you've got is all the written instructions, and you've got all coding, so all of your beads are lettered so that you know which beads you need and where. So you've got all the written instructions and you've got photographed instructions step by step as well. So I will take you by the hand all the way through. All of your little beads are lettered, and you will have excess left as well, so don't worry if you're like me and your beads do take flight whilst you're working. And then you've got the beading thread, which is not your standard cotton. This is a specialist thread for bead weaving.
Okay.
Your beading needle, the antennas that I probably dreamt about because I've done so many. And the backing as well. Now you will need a dab of glue for the backing. You can, I recommend a beader's glue, E6000, but you can, if you've got a glue gun, try using your glue gun, but pop it on a sample first, just to make sure that it works okay. So I've got some before and after stages. This is the printed foundation that comes in your kit. So it's an illustration that my daughter did, Emily, and she did the queen, the bee and the queen bee. Now, I've got plenty of needles threaded here, because when you're on camera, it's always very easy when you're not, and then when you get on camera, everything doesn't quite go as planned.
Tell me about it. That's my whole career you've just summed up there.
Now, I recommend the length of thread, that's all in the details. I'm keeping mine short because I will get mine attached to everything whilst I'm demonstrating. My top tip to start off with is to actually curve your corners.
Oh, is that so the thread don't wrap around?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a little tip I picked up from one of my customers along the way, which I thought was a fabulous tip.
I like that.
And tie a triple knot in the bottom. Now I'm going to show you all the basics, and this really is all you need to know to complete the whole pattern. So we're going to start first of all by doing the outline on the wings. So I've come up from the base of the foundation, and that will be stopped by the knot, and then I'm going to add 4 seed beads. Now you might be thinking, how on earth am I going to get those seed beads onto that size needle? Believe you me, it is absolutely fine. It takes practice, and I do it by touch. So I tap, let's just show you on screen. I just tap my needle like so on the tip of them, so you don't have to strain your eyes all the time to keep looking. So you add in 4 beads at a time.
Okay.
Take a nosedive down to the back. And then at the back, where that knot sits, is back stitch through that. That will bring you back up to the front of the foundation. Push your needle.
Sorry to chip in, a quarter of Albert Bee has now already gone. You are absolutely loving the bees this hour. A quarter of the Albert Bee has already gone now. So get it while you can. Details are on the screen. It's the same principle going through both of the bees, as it works on the same lines. 178459 is your item number. Let's go back to demo.
Okay. So I'm going to push the needle through those 4 beads, and then we're going to add another 4. So
would you only say ever do 4 max?
I would say only ever do 4 max, because otherwise it will just become a little bit saggy as you're going around. We don't want a saggy bee. When you're going around corners, I would recommend you use less as well, because you'll get a more distinct curve.
When you only go back through the 4 that you've just put on, you don't go
just
through all
go
of them
back
again.
through the 4.
If you haven't got a jewellery mat like you're currently working on,
Yeah.
what else could we use?
Tea towel.
Oh, okay.
Would be absolutely fine. I'm just trying to think what else. Felt, if you've got a little swatch of felt, but a tea towel would serve you just fine.
That's another thing people get put off by. Oh, I haven't got the right tools. I've not got all the gear. And then you go out and then it becomes just costly then. It becomes really expensive for a little project that you wanted to do.
Yeah, just a tray as well. Just a tray, and pop a tea towel on there. I'll just carry on a little while on this.
Yeah, carry on.
And then I will just talk you through the next part. So as you can see, there's really nothing complicated about that, and already
Look at that.
you're well on your way.
I think the most complicated bit so far would be threading the needle and putting a triple knot on the end. I can never knot a piece of thread.
And I think Hochanda do some of the magnifiers, the portable magnifiers with the light on.
Oh yeah, they'll be on the website somewhere.
Those are great little things.
A little bit of daylight.
For, great little things for doing these projects. But it's always a good time to do it in the daylight if you struggle with your vision.
It's on the website if you'd like to get one. There they are. It also opens freedom, and it also opens up flexible payments as well, which means your bead will be on 2 flexible payments as well. If you're going for your daylight, £49, 99 pence, 739231 is your item number, or 2 flexible payments of £25. If you're a freedom member, though, the price goes down to £44.99, and your freedom flexi will be £22.50. Pop the beads in there. You'll also get 2 interest-free flexible payments delivered to your door.
Those are brilliant. I've got one at home and I use mine all the time. So I'm going around the corner and I'm just going to do a single stitch there because it gives it more definition. Whereas if you take 4 beads around the corner, it won't make it as quite as distinct. There is a little method you can use which is called couching down, which is explained in the instructions, which is how you can taper it out into the corners if you need to. So I am going to just switch to the other bee and I'm going to show you what it looks like with the outline.
Okay, 50% of the Albert bee now has now already gone. 50% of the Albert bee. If you're wondering which one Albert is the one without the crown on, and a quarter of Victoria with the crown on. So Victoria and Albert's not got a crown, Victoria's got the crown. 50% of Albert and a quarter of Victoria has now already gone. Remember, you've got your 2 new options as well, your sapphire and your ruby. Obviously, it goes with the colours. That you got the red and the blue that you've got. Absolutely beautiful. Right, then let's go back to demo.
I thought with the sapphire and the ruby, those would make quite nice birthstones beads as well. But I'm afraid I can't remember what birthstone. I have a feeling that ruby is July, but I can't remember.
Sapphire is September.
There you go.
Once again, they're on it. They've had a good sleep in the gallery today. Not in the gallery, obviously. They've had a good sleep and then come to work. 9 times out of 10, depends who you work with, they are asleep in the gallery. But.
If I just finish this portion of the wing, now when you've finished a little section, it's a really good idea to do something called reinforcing. All reinforcing is pushing your needle all the way around that section that you've just done, and what it does is it aligns the beads, so it just gives it a smoother look. There are a couple of bead sizes in the kit, some of the tinier beads, that you possibly might not be able to do that with. But I think most of them that are in the kit are absolutely fine. Also, less is more. Don't over bunch your beads, because if you over bunch your beads, it will start to buckle. Oh. And you've got some small beads in the kit, so you can always fill in with smaller beads as well. So, for example, once you've finished that little section, I would then start back at the beginning.
Quite therapeutic to watch this.
Oh, that's good. And then push your needle all the way around. Right, let's turn that back round so that I can see what I'm doing. And it's something very small, but actually it makes quite a big difference to the presentation of your work.
Lovely. So you do all 4, is it all 4 of the wings in the same way, or is it basically the entire body is done in exactly the same way that you've done the wings?
The entire body.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, even with so if I just show you some of the outlines. So here's one that I've done a little bit more on. Now, this isn't necessarily in the right order. As they say, all the right notes, but not in the right order.
Oh, is there an order you should do him in?
There is an order that's actually in the sheet, which just helps really to make sure that all the spacing is right in it. No. So I've broken all my rules just to show you. So you would outline the wings. The crystals in here
which catch the light so beautifully. You use the same technique, but you just do one at a time and backstitch. And then the gaps you just fill in randomly with little beads. So I thought I'd move on over and just show you how we fill in these wings. Now all the beads that are in here are all branded beads, so they're Czechoslovakian beads, most of them, and these are a particular type of beads that are specially cut, which gives it that glisten.
Beautiful.
Now I'm going to show you how you step across. Now apologies if I'm breaking embroidery rules, but here we go, because I always think at the back you're not going to see the back.
Very true.
You can either tie off and rethread your needle, or you can reposition your needle. Now you don't want too many gaps because you might find you cut into it at the back. So what I tend to do is just push my needle up through the bars at the back, and then I'm ready to start in a different point. And then you
rather than cutting it and knotting it, it's a continued thread that's going to give you more support and stability.
That's it. So it just helps with not having to cut and rethread again. And then the way you'd fill in your wings.
Yeah, because this bit looks. When I look at the finished samples, this is the bit that looks complicated because it's all looks like one big chain.
Yeah, fun. It's not actually one big chain. It's using exactly the same technique. So again, add in 3 to 4 beads. So you're laying it in the inside. Just take your time, bump them up with your needle, take a nosedive down.
And then you just continue going round in a circle around the wing.
You do. So you do an outline in the wing, and then you do another inner outline in that as well.
So it's very, very simple to do. Once again, £24.95. 50% of the Albert B has already gone. A quarter of the Victoria B has already gone as well. 178459 is your item number. £24.95 is what you're looking at. And then we have the new ones, Ruby and the Sapphire, in the Queen Bees as well. So if you want them, you get full instructions. You get all the beads that you're going to need as well. Extra beads included. You get the clasp for the back if you want to turn it into a brooch. You get all your thread that you need as well, and it all comes beautifully packaged with a full design. And remember, you are stitching onto the pattern, so you can't really go wrong. Everything is in the kit that you need. If you need a brand new craft to take your mind away from it all, maybe this is going to be the one. Nearly half the stock of Victoria now has already gone. We've also got the booster set on the kit as well, on the show as well. So with the booster kit, you get no instructions with this one because you use your instructions from the previous one. This is if you get no beads as well. So if you've got your own beads at home, you're thinking, I've got them beads, I'd love to do that to match that little dress or that my little denim jacket that I want. You've got it all there, but you are getting your backing, so your design, you're getting the foundation, you're getting your antennae in there, you're getting your needles, you're getting the brooch back in there as well. You're getting your beading needles, which I adore, look at them. Very, very nice beading needles that you've got on there, and you get your bails as well to turn it into a little keyring if you wanted to. All you have to do is run them by the kit. £16.95. 753409 is your item number for this one. We've then got the bracelets as well on the show. These are on a pick and mix. You can pick any two of the colours, so you might want to go for. I'm just going to line up all the colours for you, just so you can see, because otherwise it all looks a bit much. So you've got all your colours here, and then you've got these two, which are on here as well. Every time, Adam. These are your colours. So you have got, let's go for, you've got your turquoise, then you've got your black and grey, then you've got your blue, then you've got your accoutrement, as it were. Then you've got your gold that's in there. Then you've got your white and cream. Then you've got your red and gunmetal that's in there as well. You can choose any two of those designs for £13.95. 175514 is your item number. Then we've got the wires on the show as well to make beautiful necklaces. But if you don't want necklaces, you can extend them and wrap them around candles if you wanted to as well. This time you are getting the rose and orchid jewellery making kit, but there are 3 colourways that you can choose from. You've got rose gold on the top, you've got gold, or you've got silver down here as well. 230679 is your item number. Once again, a complete kit, but what you are going to need for this kit are some tools. Okay, this is the only kit that you're going to need tools for. Everything else you can do without the tools. We've also got your embroidery scissors on the show as well for your beading, so you can cut your threads and you get a precision cut every single time. £9.99, 922504 is your item number. Then we've got your pliers as well. These are limited stock at the moment, and once these have gone, these have gone. So it's well worth having a little look. 317858 is your item number. £23.95 is what you're looking at for all your scissors, all your pliers that you currently have here as well. So you get things like your round nose, your chain nose, your bent nose, and also your side cutters as well. Something else that's quick and easy to do is jump to the website. You'll see the entire show on there for you. Check out your bees as well, your Albert bee, Victoria bee, your sapphire bee, and pop it into your basket. And it's the end of calls that I want to show you, so you agree to the terms and conditions, because on your end of calls here, we're now talking of things like your ring sizer. You've got more needles on there. You've got a wooden ring medal on there. You've got a little tap of the hammer on there as well. I think the ring size are always handy to have, a little set of ring sizes. No one ever knows what size ring they are.
No, they're really popular. They're good to have.
No, they really are. I love it. I love a little ring sizer. You can never find one when you want one. You always go to a jewellery shop. They are your end of calls, is what we're looking at. Right then, let's go back to demo. Where did you get up to?
Right, so I've done the inner bit on the
nice.
wing.
Yes, lovely.
So I thought what I'd do, if we've got time, is show a little bit of how to make the crown.
We've got time.
Yeah.
We'll go into the next show. It's all right. Don't you worry. You do whatever you need to do.
And also tying off as well, because they're all handy little things to know.
We've got about 13 minutes.
Okay. So first of all, I have got another needle threaded somewhere. I'm going to show you how to tie off. So you fall in short on a thread is just grab a little bit of the foundation, and before you close the loop, just tie a knot.
Oh, is that how you do it?
And then that's it. And then just do it in another place, just to make sure that's doubly secure. And then you can trim off.
I so wish I'd done this show about 2 weeks ago. I was sewing a pocket back onto something, and do you think I could tie it off? I couldn't work out how to do it. That pocket kept falling off. In the end, I just took the pocket off. But I couldn't work out.
Learn something new.
It's on a dressing gown. It's on my dressing gown. Just now I've got no pockets on my dressing gown now. Nothing. Sorry, Ray. I wouldn't.
You carry on.
I do apologise.
So a little top tip as well is, because you're going to cut off the antennas, they're just printed there to give you an idea as to where they go. It's an idea before you trim, just to put a couple of pen marks at the back so that you know where to stitch the antennas.
Okay.
So this is some new thread. We've tied that one off. Pretend that we've done the stitching elsewhere. And then we're using some slightly smaller beads this time. So you can't go wrong if you just follow the contours of the outline on here.
Oh, so then where them circles are, that's where we put, if we're going for the ruby or the sapphire, that's where we put our rubies and sapphires?
That's it. That's where you got your crown jewels.
You put whatever you want there, my love. It's entirely up to you if you want to pop your crown jewels in there. Each to their own, I suppose. Each to their own. I've got no pocket on my dressing gown, so I can't talk.
So there we go.
178459 is your item number. I'll try and bring it back somehow. £24.95 is what you're looking at. We are very busy for the Albert. Half the stock of the Albert and the Victoria have already gone. And the £24.95, 178459 is your item number. Right then, let's get back to the crown.
Right, so we have our jewel, and then we're going to stitch across.
Oh, so this is so it's basically like the wing. So you just use less beads this time because you've got more curves on there.
This is it. So we're just going to stitch a couple of beads down into the curve. You're still back stitching.
I love this. I suppose you could, if you put your mind to it, you could do one of these in an evening, I'm guessing.
I do them in an evening because I've done so many, but I think probably a couple of evenings.
2-3 nights?
Yeah.
I suppose it depends how much you sleep.
Yes, that's true.
We are busy for these £24.95, 178459 is your item number. Remember, you can attach them to bags, you can attach them to cushions, use them as decorative. Could you attach them, I suppose, because you get the little pendant in there, could you attach them to a little chain if you wanted to wear them?
Yes, absolutely, because I know, you know, some people like really bold jewellery.
They do indeed.
And there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't wear this as a statement piece. And you could just glue that gold bail on the back that's in the booster kit and pop a chain on it.
That'd be nice.
You mentioned about a bobble hat earlier. Actually, I do have one that I wear on a hat. Not a bobble hat, but they do make nice accessories on a trilby sort of hat.
Or a little fascinator for Ladies' Day, or a little headband for a little girl. That'd be nice. Or a little boy. Horses for courses.
I'm actually doing the other side first so that I can at least line it up centrally when I do the middle one.
Oh, so with the antennae, do we stick them on once we put the backing on, or do we sort of sew them in?
You actually just stitch them into place and then before you glue in the backing.
Oh, okay, so they're glued onto the back. Well, they're stitched onto the front, but we haven't got to sew them into this crown bit, as
That's it. So you're stitching them on the back of the foundation here once you've trimmed the foundation off, and then you hide any of the excess antennas in the back.
You can see how a project can quickly come together. Once again, you can lose yourself in the world of birds and the bees. Here you can go for more than one of the kits if you wanted to as well. Maybe yourself and a friend are going to take this on board. Maybe you've got your own. Maybe you've got your own beads at home. Maybe you've got your own beads. So now you could really add to some of these as well. So you've got your main kit that we've got here, £24.95, 178459 is your item number for your main kit. Remember, you've got the two brand new today, your sapphires and your rubies that are already in there. Then you've got your Albert and you've got your Victoria. Victoria's the one with the crown on down the bottom. Very, very busy for these £24.95 is what we're looking at. Then you've got your add-on kit if you wanted to put your add-on kit in as well. For the sheer fact, you get your pictures in there. So you get your pictures and you get your backings that are already in there. All you need to do is add your own beads into the kit as well. So maybe you've got those beautiful beads that you want to use time and time again, but you don't know what to do with them. This is the way you can do it, and you get more of the needles that are already in there. 753409 is your item number. We are very busy for your beads now, so get them while you can. We are also busy for your bracelets as well. Now remember, your bracelets are on a pick and mix. is what you're looking at here. So you can choose any two of the colourways that we're currently seeing. We are very busy for the, I know I keep saying we're very busy, but we are phenomenally busy this hour. You are loving these designs. Remember, they're beginner friendly as well. If you want to go beginner friendly, you're not just though for around your wrist. You can also wear them around candles. If you wanted to, you could also make them into jewellery. You could put them on as earrings as well, depending on the size that you make. And you can choose any two that you continue on to do. 175514 is your item number. We've also got the wire jewellery on the show. Now, this is in rose gold, gold or silver is what you're looking at for this. And you get both of the emblems that are already in there. So you're going to get that beautiful rose and you're also going to get that beautiful orchid in here, which is absolutely stunning. So this is your rose gold. These are your golds. And then this is your silver. But what you can add them onto your candles and things like that. You are going to need tools for these ones, though, is what you're going to need for. And we have got tools on the show. Let me quickly bring in the tools, if you don't mind. £9.99 for your little scissors that we've got on the show. It's well worth having these. And then you've got the pliers as well. Obviously go hand in hand with everything that's there. These are very limited stock, is what we're looking at. 317858 is your item number. Then we've got the embroidery scissors that I was telling you about, £9.99. 922504 is your item number. £9.99 for your embroidery scissors. Well worth having in your little crafty stash. Right then, Rachel, what are you showing me this time? We've got about 7 minutes.
7 minutes. So just to quickly show you before I move on that's where we're at with the crown.
That's nice.
So just a few little bits left. And now what we're going to demonstrate is the wire orchid, which is what are in the pendant set. So you get an orchid and a flower.
I like the orchid.
Now this, if you want something that has quick results to it, this is a really quick project, the orchid, when I can detach my bee.
And you do, as you said, you do need tools for this one, don't you?
You do need tools for this one as well. And all of the tools are covered in the instructions. So we'd start off first of all by forming a loop. And then we would actually...
This looks a very nifty gadget that you've got here.
This is my ruler, and I'm thinking I can't actually remember what size it was now, so bear with me. So all the measurements are actually in there, and you're going to turn it. So this will be the centre of your orchid, and you're going to make 5 petals in this way.
Look at this. Well, so it's quite simple then.
It really is very simple and very quick. So to make something like the candle project isn't too daunting a project to get something made up quite quickly in that.
Now, so you do 2 large and 2 small petals.
So here's one I made earlier that looks a little neater. So we've actually got a loop there. So these are the tip of your petals, these are the base, and then you would just gently tweak them, and that helps to give some shape. Oops, there we go.
There we go.
And then just a standard pen, we're going to actually embrace the pen to shape the petal.
Oh, look at that.
And you work all the way round for the next one.
I've never seen this technique. And they don't have to be perfect, do they? Because nature's not perfect.
This is it.
Shape it around your Sharpie. I like Rachel's technique. Embrace the pen.
Embrace the pen. And there we have your orchid shape.
Look at that.
Now, if you do have hammer, one of the rubber-tipped hammers, you can gently hammer it as well, but it isn't essential. I know there's hammers available end of call
yes,
on
they are
there.
indeed.
Now, to make the centre, So if I just bring one across that I've done, all you've got left to do now is to actually make the centre. So we do this with a thinner wire.
And we get all this in the kit, don't we?
Everything
you're using is in the kit.
Yeah, to be honest, you probably will make a couple of them from the amount of wire that you've actually got in there. And you've got a little tiny seed bead in there, which you probably think, what on earth is that for? That is actually just to capture going through the bead.
So would you say if you can sort of hold a pencil and write your name, you'd be able to make these as well?
These are really...
Yeah. Dexterous and things like that.
They're really easy, and like I say, the wires are really thin on here. This is obviously more solid because you need it to maintain its shape. But even so, it's still not that hard. It's still not that thick that it's hard on your fingers. And this is almost like it's just a very fine.
Yeah, 'cause this doesn't have to be for jewellery. This could be for embellishments for your cards or mixed media projects that you're doing, or canvases, or...
That would be beautiful. I mean, a nice little embellishment on a card. You can even make it so that it's detachable as well. So we're going to wrap that round the back. We haven't quite got to the stage of the bead yet. I did skip ahead a little bit. So we're going to pull that in.
We've got about 3 minutes left.
Ooh, okay. And then you would pop the wires through both to bring them together. Like so. I'm going to take that off. And then we'd add the centre wire. So here's one, shimmy along. So I've added the centre wire, and you just anchor those by going around the back. And you've got checkers, these are Czechoslovakian crystals. And I'll just quickly show you as well how you actually get those little turns on them, if I can thread them quick enough.
We've got 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Ooh, not long.
Nothing like pressure.
Nothing like pressure.
Speed jewellery making.
Right, I've got 2 on there instead of 3, but never mind. So you would twist. So nothing complex.
Can you twist too much so it breaks?
Yes. Oh. Yeah. Best not to over twist. And then a little cocktail stick or something along those lines. I'm going to use my round nose pliers, and you would wrap that round there. And you just continue in that way.
Absolutely beautiful. Look how quick and simple it is to create when you've got the right tools for the job. Then you'll be beautifully creating beautiful flowers like these. So you can choose rose gold, gold or silver is what you choose. Rose gold is the most popular. It is absolutely stunning down there. And remember, you get everything in your kit that you need. All you do need is your pliers. We've only literally got a minute left. So sum everything up for me. If people have been watching, they're sitting on the fence going, I'd like to have a go at the beads, or I'd like to have a little go at the jewellery, I've got some of the tools, I don't really know if it's me. What would you say to those people that are umming and ahhing?
I'd say give it a go, and if you're a lover of crafts, there's nothing not to love. And the fact is that look at how you can perhaps incorporate it with your own crafts as well. But it's very much something that's mindful. We all need a little bit of uplifting and a bit of relaxation, and that's really what it does.
It does indeed. Thank you, Raj. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. It's been a joyous to watch. It's quite therapeutic, isn't it? We haven't got long left at all. Start checking out your baskets if I was you. I don't want you to miss out. Some things are over 50% of the stock has already gone. And remember, some of the tools are limited stock. Don't you go anywhere. There's so much more to shop for here in the wonderful world of Hochanda. What a beautiful hour that really was. Silhouette is coming up next. You don't want to miss this. And then we are going shapers. Oh yeah.
Hi, my name is Blanche Siegmann. I'm the owner of the company La Blanche. The company La Blanche is a crafting company located in Germany. For over 20 years, I'm designing and selling stamps, paper crafting products and home decoration. As a passionate crafter myself, I make sure all our products are of highest quality and easy to use. We produce a whole range of products. We produce paper products. We have also shrink sleeves for your jars, glasses. We have home decoration products, paints and wall decals. Everything, the whole range of crafting we produce for you. I hope you enjoy watching us at Hochanda and crafting with La Blanche.
Hi, this is Els from Elizabeth Craft Designs. Elizabeth Craft Designs is a Colorado-based company. It's a family company, so husband, son, daughter all work in the company, and then a fantastic team of designers, because a company cannot exist without a great team around yourself. What we would like to share with you is my passion for crafts. We love all the concepts we have, so we have from cute till classic and beautiful designs. We love our journaling planner line, and we are going to bring you our ideas, our passion, and we hope to transfer that passion to you. So please join Elizabeth Craft Designs here at Hochanda.
Exciting news! For the 5th year in a row, Hochanda has been awarded the top accolade of Platinum Trusted Service Award from Feefo. These awards recognise businesses that deliver exceptional experiences as rated by you, our customers, and we're honoured to have been selected. The Trusted Service Award means you can shop with confidence, based on the reviews from over 60,000 Hochanda customer experiences. Thank you for your independent reviews. It means a lot to us.
Hi, I'm Abs from Holland Create. I've been crafting for over 10 years now, and I love stamping, stenciling, creating layers of colours, textures, and creating depth and dimension. Holland Create was established in October 2016, collaborating with a group of designers and artists from all over the world, bringing different designs and products in different styles. We pride ourselves with high-quality photopolymer clear stamp sets, dies, stencils, washi tapes and acrylic blocks, all in different size and format. In my shows at Hochanda, I hope to bring you inspiration and different ways of using your craft products. Make sure you don't miss the Holland Create shows on Hochanda.
Hi, I'm Leslie from Chocolate Baroque, and we design and manufacture our own rubber stamps right here in the northeast of England. We have a wonderful in-house designer called Sue, who hand draws all the images, which we then transfer into rubber stamps. We have very, very elaborate designs. We have everything from steampunk right through to beautiful florals, and then we have scenic and we have words. Our stamps are beautifully elaborate, very, very detailed, exquisitely etched, and the quality is next to none. So good that if you look after your stamps, we guarantee them for a lifetime. Whether it's stamping, mixed media or art journaling, join us at Hochanda for our journey into everything creative and messy, and see what you can create with our stamps.
Welcome back, everyone. Always a brilliant item and a brilliant hour to work with, because this is like kid in a sweet shop time with Silhouette, Hayley, isn't it? Completely.
It is. we've got the portrait. Hello again. And yeah, portrait 3, one of my favourites of the silhouette range, because I'm not losing any potential, but I've got it in a kind of compact size.
In a nutshell, for anyone who hasn't seen the silhouette at all ever, what will it do for me?
Now, it's what we call a digital die cutting machine, and what this means is it's using a little tiny blade, a swivel blade, that moves across that kind of little bar backwards and forwards, and it swivels and cuts out your design. It's brilliant because it gives you a whole host of kind of possibilities, because you can cut out all sorts of different mediums. You can cut out letters that you've got on your computer, so you can make things like banners, you can make sentiments for your cards, scrapbook pages, things like your planners, all sorts of different occasions. Make things as cards if you're wanting to, quite easy, because you can cut out all your different kind of weights of card, right the way through to any card up to 3mm thick, actually, with some of the new blades that we've got. Yeah, there's just lots and lots of possibilities with you. The creativity is endless.
Am I right in saying that you can draw? This can draw as well as cut.
It can,
yes.
Well. You need the attachment of the pen holder, and the pen holders will allow you to use any pens that you've got. Things like Sharpies, ballpoint pens, your kind of micron pens, pencils, whatever you want to. Or you can just go straight in and use some of the silhouette pens within here as well, because you have got the ability to use those, and again, pop those within a little holder.
This would be great as well for those people who want to get something as fine, intricate detail as this, and actually have it cut straight onto an adhesive medium, because quite often with standard paper die cuts, that can be quite a lot of complex gluing. And lots of splatters and drags of glue and everything else. But you can do something as intricate and probably more intricate than that.
Well, that's it. And that was a piece of self-adhesive card. So it is actually meant to be in a frame, but the frame got broken in transit, so hence it's just a piece of card. But you could be making that and selling that. Yeah, as long as you... We'll talk about licences and things like that as the hour goes on. But if it's something that you've designed from scratch with your own artwork, then you don't have to worry about licences, and you can sell as many as you like.
That, I think, is really where this machine is going to come into its own. For those people who are... Maybe you are a card maker, and maybe, you know, you're working with, you know, die-cut companies or whatever, where you've got, like, angel policies and you're able to sell, and you've taken that toe-in-the-water step, and you want to move things on. I know people who are starting to become that little bit more professional and maybe are starting a business, or actually seeing the potential in... In fact, should we show this banner, Hayley?
Because if I take the middle bit, we are...
Yeah, because we are socially
and on the show, we have actually got... I know it's not your birthday.
It's not my birthday till November, but thanks. I'm very... Yeah, I'm going to get loads of messages later from people saying, oh, I didn't know it was your birthday, Derek, happy birthday. But this is the kind of possibility, and actually... You could sell something like this, couldn't you, very, very easily?
Well, we've got the addition of the roller holder, roll holder, which makes it so much easier for you to actually cut these up to 3 metres in length, and that's purely because of the actual length of the vinyl. If you've got a longer piece, then you could do, but... Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. Happy birthday to me in November. Right, let's talk to you about the silhouette machine itself then, and then Hayley will talk us through it and guide us through it and show us the demystify and everything else. So, here's the item number, 706126. You've got quite a big saving on this one, by the way. You've got a £70 saving, and we've broken down the machine down into 3 flexi payments as well, which I think is really, really important. Remember, when if you go for flexi, it's 3 payments. Once you've made your first one, it is dispatched out to you. The machine comes to you. Then you just go download the software, and then you can go and play. And that's almost like a little sort of period of approval for you to get to know it and to love it and to everything else.
You can actually download the software today before you even get your machine home.
Oh,
and
even
start
better.
Playing around with it. One thing I am just going to mention, just because I don't want to avoid any confusion, with the machine that we've got out, we've actually got a blade that's fitted, and there's also an extra blade on there. You only actually get 1 blade with this one, so you might want to just swap one of those.
Take this one away.
Just pop that to the back there. Just as far as I'm aware, if you do end up with 2, then it's a bit of a bonus, but as far as I'm aware, you only get 1 with the machine.
OK. So 706126, obviously, you know, this is a considered purchase, so you'll need to see it in action before you go for it. We've also got a number of other bits and pieces that we've got on the show. So if you have a portrait already, you've got other blades and accessories that are on the show. Now, there's also the opportunity to actually get to know this with our Hayley as well. because there's actually a class available. So tell us a bit more about that, Hayley.
It's the first time that we've offered these through Hochanda. It's something that I've been doing alongside Graphtech, who supply the silhouette to Hochanda here. And one of the things that we regularly find from people is people are asking about, well, how do I learn more? Well, what we've got is a series of classes. And it's a course. You've got 3 different classes. Each of those classes are 2 hours long, and they're interactive. It's we use one, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but it's like one of those online platforms.
Yeah.
So just to let you know that when you do purchase this, Hochanda have to pass on your email address to Graphtech so as they can send you kind of the room key code and things like that so as you can access it. And basically what we've got is a series of 3 classes. We've already held some of these and had brilliant responses with regards to them. And it helps you. Now I'm just going to click on my laptop here just to kind of show you. This is a little bit of a promotion just to show you what happens. So we have the classes and they're basically done by video and they're very interactive. We have no more than 10 people on those classes at any one time. And what that means is that you can work alongside me. So you can watch on your phone or on your tablet, have your laptop up and running, have your software running, and you can ask me any questions that you have with regards to those elements that you're having trouble with. Now we have kind of got a plan that we work through. So I'll teach you all about how to get your settings right with your computer and the software, how to get it to work in centimetres or inches, how to create designs, how to dissect those designs, use elements from the library. So it really is an interactive course. 3 of those classes. The first one is all about getting your computer up and ready and the software to get those settings and to learn about all the different tools that you've got. The second one we're going to concentrate on when you've created your design and you actually want to send it to the cutting machine. And what that means is that you literally how to get those settings right, how to get it all together so as you get that optimum cut. And then the third and final one is all about print and cut. So that's when you can actually print off your designs on your printer, load them up onto your silhouette, and whether it's your portrait, your curio, your cameo, whichever machine you are working with, those classes are incredibly useful, whether you're a complete novice or whether you are a seasoned or what I call a revisiting silhouette user, because there's a lot of people that have invested in these and don't use them to the optimum, and they will be the first ones to admit to that one. And we've had lots of people that, even though they've had their machines 5, 6, whatever many number of years, they have been able to take a lot of information from those classes.
I think that's a brilliant idea. It's also an excuse to go round to Hayley's for a few hours as well, have a little nosy round, see what's going on in hers. But also it's being able to ask those questions as they come to your mind as well. That's the great thing about an hour like this as well. I can do that on your behalf. So anything that I think of that I think, oh, OK, well, if I was new to this, I'd want to know the answer to this question. I'll come up with them. If you've got any questions for this hour as well, get them in, studio@hochanda.com. And what we'll do is we'll try and address as many things as we possibly can, because of course no one spends what is, you know, it's a considered sum of money. You know, it's a really powerful bit of tech. You know, it's not big in size. It's much smaller than regular printers that we have on our desktop these days, actually. It's more the size of a laminator, actually. But no one spends over £200 on a piece of kit without knowing what it will do and how easy it is to start.
And it's the potential. Please don't look at this and think, oh, gosh, it looks a little bit small. What am I able to do with this? It is the power behind this. Think of it as like a little tugboat that can bring a huge ship in, and that huge ship is going to be laden with loads of crafty goodies with regards to some of those things that you're going to be able to do with it. So first of all, you've got your machine. So of course, when you actually hook it up to your laptop, after you've got the or your computer, it can be your Mac as well. You can use it on a Mac or a PC, and there is actually an app that you can start using now as well. But initially, you'll need to put it on your Mac or onto your PC. When you connect it, which can be by Bluetooth if you're wanting to, or you can use the USB cable that comes with it, it will automatically download a load of designs, and these are free of charge for you to use for your own personal use. And it's one of those ones that when you actually do get them on, and I'm just going to go into the to show you the designs as well so as you can actually see these. There's absolutely loads that you can use for all sorts of different opportunities and different scenarios. Now obviously you've got the machine itself, and in there you will be able to see you've got that rotary, that blade. Now that blade will swivel and it will actually automatically adjust by the machine for you to create with regards to these. So that will cut out and it'll actually get the right depth with regards to those. So yeah, if you're wanting to do that, then don't worry about it. It will do it for you. You don't have to alter it at all. Shall I show you the book? Shall we go through the book? Let me put the book down here. So let me just show you. Which way should we do it? Should we do it over the top? Over the top. So this is going to give you an idea of some of the things that you can actually cut out with this. So this is my little guidebook. So we've got craft card. So craft card can be quite weighty, and this is just using the standard blade that comes with your machine, although you can use some of the additional blades, and we have got new blades on the show. Things like stencil paper, stencil film. This can cut it out, and sometimes the finer things are trickier to cut out than the heavier weights. And you can see there's a little stencil that I've just inked up and put through there. Pearlescent cardstock. You've got a couple of layers with this one because you've got your coating as well as your base cardstock. Cuts out that with perfection. Then you've got things like your metallic cardstock. Again, it's got a coating on there. It makes it tricky to cut, but it doesn't have an issue. Then you've got things like your printable magnetic sheets. So this is something that print and cut class that we're going to be running would be useful, because you can make your own fridge magnets with those if you wanted to, or decals to go on the side of cars as well. Scrapbook paper, 250 GSM, not an issue at all. Cut through that without any problem. Self-adhesive canvas paper. This is something that, as it says, it's sticky, so you can stick it down, but you've got a lot of texture and it is like a fabric, but the blade coped with that easily. Window cling. These are all things that Silhouette do sell, so you can get hold of these. Bockingford card, that's a favourite of ours, isn't it? And you'll see that come up a little bit later on, because you can actually stamp and die cut your stamps from your stamp collection. That's part of that that third class in the course. I'll teach you how to do that. Yupo paper, this is something that you can't tear by hand. You can only cut it with scissors or with a knife. Cut through that without any issue at all. Then weightier things like your glitter cardstock. Of course, that's something, one of those things that we love. You're going to be able to cut that out. Foil adhesive paper as well, without any issues. Self-adhesive cardstock, we saw that with that lovely design you held up earlier. Double-sided adhesive sheets that you can then go in and put your glitters on. It will cut through those. Self-adhesive craft paper. Canvas paper as well is cut through that without any issue for your mixed media. And it will actually cut out things like mask sheets. So these are some stamps that I bought from Hochanda. You scan them into the software, and again in the class I can tell you all about how to do this. You trace around the edge, and what that means is you can actually create your own little masks then. So every stamp set that you've got, it will cut those out, and that means that you can take those individual stamps and start building up your own configuration using the masks and the mask sheet that you can get from Hochanda as well.
That's really clever, actually, isn't it?
That's useful.
It's going to save you a lot of time, that, isn't it?
That's it. And then once you've actually got those designs, what you can do is actually set it up so you can actually cut out your cardstock. So if you're building up your design onto, say, the front of a card, you might not want to cut those out, but if you're wanting to do your decoupage, then you will. So you can actually cut those out as well. And you can even cut out your cotton fabric. There's a variety of fabrics you can cut out. You will need to put a backing on them, because this particular machine doesn't work with the rotary cutter, the Cameo does. But using the blade that you've got, and one of the new blades is brilliant for that, you can actually cut out your fabric for simplistic shapes. Geometric star shapes, and then if you want to do anything in finer detail, maybe use some of that heat transferable vinyl. And I've got other pages that will be to continue.
Because there's going to be new things that you discover all the time, isn't there, I think? Yeah. New materials, and again, you'll come up with ideas as well. That's the great thing. It becomes like a little community as well. There are lots of online communities, as you know, where everyone shares, you know, knowledge with each other.
That's it. Very much so.
And I'm sure there's going to be a Silhouette one of those somewhere as well.
Oh, there's loads of supports, and yeah, on the first Monday of every month on the Silhouette UK Facebook group, we actually run Make It Monday, and it's usually an opportunity for me to let you know of new products that have come out, like the new blades that we've got on the show, and also to do a little bit of a tutorial as well. Something that was new we've got on the show as well is the roll for actually using your vinyl. So when we saw obviously the banner that we made earlier on, that was cut direct from a roll, and this is your roll feeder that you can use on your portrait at this size, or you can extend that out and use it for your wider 12-inch wide vinyl when you're working with your Cameo. And this is something that I'm going to be using with my little portrait machine, because all you need to do is you move that forward. If I pop this down so as you can see, pop it down onto your desk, and that gives you a good sturdy base for your vinyl to sit in there. And you'll notice you've got these little kind of marks here. Let me move my machine out the way so you can see. Those little marks there, dependent on whether you're working with your Cameo or your portrait, that's basically for your little feet to sit in, and that just means it locks in there nice and easy, and it means it's in the right position then for you to actually use with the roll cutter. So let's move that over a little bit there. There you go. So that will lock in place there, and what that means is I can actually put vinyl on here and feed it through so as it goes direct into the machine, and it basically supports it as it goes through. So it means that you don't get any crinkles or marks or anything like that with regards to this. So there you go.
So if you're doing a longer project, then you don't have to babysit it. You can basically set it to go and let it do its thing.
Well, that's it, and then you slide that in, and that's going to hold that 9-inch vinyl like so. And you'll notice I'm not actually using a cutting mat, because you don't have to use a cutting mat when you're working with something that has got a backing on it like the vinyl. You can go direct into the machine. So that's all loaded up, so we can get started with a banner in a few moments if you like.
Brilliant. It sounds brilliant. Well, let's go through what we've got, because there are those new blades as well, aren't they, for the machine itself, which is really, really good. You're going to see the machine in action. And by the way, these things that are around me and behind me, things like this, have all been made using the machine as well, because there's material that you can cut out and then transfer
heat it
to
with an iron
fabric, which I think is really, really good. So that could be the start of, you know, your own clothing business, because of course you can draw and design into this. There are presets, there are others that you can buy as well, but ultimately you can actually create your own thing, and that becomes yours, and then that becomes your business, I guess, doesn't it, if you want to, which is really, really good. So the machine itself, remember, is £70 saving right now, which is really, really good. We all love a saving right now. You know, we're all keeping control of, you know, what's going on finance-wise. But also to break that down into 3 flexes as well, which I think is really, really good, because that means that if you pay today £71.66 plus P&P, you get this home and you start using it and you start trying it out straight away, which I think is really, really good. So the first of those flexi payments, the machine comes straight out to you, which is really, really good.
Very, very quickly mention as well the Gold Star warranty. I forgot to mention that. That is something that you don't usually get with your machine.
Ah, right, yes. So
that is something basically that Graphtec have introduced for people who buy their machines from Hochanda, and it's worth, I think it's usually about £70 you have to pay for that. And what that means is if you have any issues with your machine, and this is important if you are running a business, and for some reason there's a fault with your machine, or you come in encounter a problem, you can send it back to them, and within 48 hours they'll either repair it and send it back to you, or they will send you a replacement machine of the same standard. So they won't send you a brand new machine unless you obviously have an issue with a brand new machine, but they will send one to you within 24 hours. So what that means is, was it 48 hours? It might be 48 hours actually. And what that means is that you're not going to be without your machine for any great length of time, which if you're running a business you do not want to be without.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so true, because it might be that your livelihood depends on this gorgeous creature here.
Exactly, yes.
So you're saving there the equivalent of a flexi payment, really, aren't you there? And that was just really, really good. £71.66, which is really good. So the roll feeder itself, we've seen that, again, if you're going for those larger rolls and those larger ladders, even if it's repeat projects that you're going over and over and over, £34.99, 432286 is the item number. Right, let's see it in action then, shall we?
Okay, so I've got my vinyl all set up ready. Usually you kind of do that after you've made your design, but I've put it on there anyway. And I know that there is 3 metres worth of vinyl on there, because I've actually got the packaging, and this is the red one that I was working with earlier on. So you will have inches as well as centimetres. Silhouettes are an American company, so you do tend to find that things are very much in your feet and your inches, but you can actually play around with your software. So if you want to make things when you're using your software centimetres, then you can do, or millimetres if you're doing something very much fine-tuned. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my work area, which you're going to be able to see on your screen here. So at the moment I've got it set up as an A4 sheet, but I'm going to open up the panel here, and I'm actually going to change it to a custom size, because you've got loads that you can actually have as presets, but you can set it up as your custom size. I've got mine set up as centimetres, so I'm going to look at the roll and actually get the dimensions exactly the same. So it's 22.9, and then the actual length of that is going to be, we'll call it 3 metres. It's a little over 3 metres, and I'm going to make sure that I put in 300 centimetres rather than 3, as I did earlier, which is a very short banner. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, and then I realised.
Okay. Yeah.
And then all I'm going to do is just hit on send, and you'll see that it will actually change. So now that is depicting the vinyl that we're working on.
Right, okay, that's good.
So that's our work area. I can go in a little bit closer if I'm wanting to, which I will do, and you can zoom in, zoom out to whatever capacity you need to work with. And equally so, if you're wanting to make that banner shorter, then you can do. But we need something to add to it. So we're going to add some text. So I'm just going to go over to the side here where I've got my fonts, and then I'm basically going to choose a font. And I like, one of my favourites is called VAG Rounded. You can use any font that you've got on your computer, or any that you choose to download. So it's entirely up to you. So that's one of my favourites, and I'm just going to type in some names. Now, I know we've got, I think it's our floor manager's sister, is it, who's recently got engaged? So
how lovely.
We're going to do congratulations. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit further so you can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, hold on. Let me come back. Let's fit
So
in there.
if you're doing text here and you're seeing the view, is it going to show you the text as if you're doing it like a tower coming down, and you'll have to change?
Well, you can rotate it. You can either have it as a tower of letters, so it could have like
to bottom,
C-O-N-G going down, or you can have it rotated on its side like we had with the banner. It's entirely up to you, whichever way you're wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So I've zoomed in a little bit because obviously it's a very big piece of work that we're working on, and I want to make sure that you can actually see what we're doing. So let's make the text a little bit larger to start with, so as we can actually see what we're doing here. So let's go in with text size of, what did I say there? We'll start off there. And then I click on there, it'll make it the larger size. So, and it was, what were we going to say? Congratulations. Congratulations. And it was Laura, and actually
Lewis.
we'll put an ampersand in there to make it.
How do we spell Lewis, though? Because there's a couple of different ways of doing that, isn't there?
Lewis. That's about right, I think. And I'm just going to drag that out so as you can have it all on one line, like so. So you can see there we've got that. I can make that into whatever size font I want, though. So we're probably going to need it to be a little bit bigger than it is. So I'm just going to basically click on that, take my cursor to the beginning and basically highlight everything there and make it a larger font. I can drag it out if I'm wanting to, but I can resize it to whatever size I want it to be simply by clicking on there. And again, I can just drag that box out to make it all on one line. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to take it over to my banner. So we'll move over here, and obviously you can see at the moment the banner is going in that direction, the writing is going in the other there. So all I need to do is basically rotate it round to where I need it to go. So I'm just going to go into the rotation here and flip it round 90 degrees and then drag it into the area. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit because obviously, as I say, that it's quite a big piece that we've got there, so you can position this to wherever you want it to go. So we've got congratulations Laura and Lewis there. You might want to leave a little bit of space at the end there to put, I don't know, a couple of engagement rings in there, or love hearts or something like that, which you can do.
But have you got things like that in the software already that you'll be able to go and look for?
You can do, basically, when you actually get download and hook up your machine to your computer, you will automatically get these designs. And let me just get that out of the way. So these are all freebies. So these designs, you've got 50 of them when you go for the Portrait 3. These are all designs that you can incorporate in. So, of course, it could be that you're putting a bear on your project, or football, all these different ones.
Don't put a pram in it just yet.
Don't put a pram in it, or we could put
they've got
like
one,
a football. Fair enough. But you can download loads as well. So if I go back into my own account, there we go, you'll see, I mean, over time, I have incorporated so many different designs in my stash. Some of the ones are from my portrait there. Oh, it needs to do an update. But if I put in heart there, I can search for anything that I wanted to. And obviously I need to do a bit of an update with some of these, but I can bring those.
Can you save your own designs in the same way in folders like that?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
So here you go. You can see that we've got that design there. It's actually made up of 3 different elements. You've got your heart and your kind of arrow there. Let's go zoom.
Oh, so you don't have to take them all then?
No, they're separated up. So these are designed so as they can layer up together if you wanted to. You could have that arrow running through it if you wanted to as well.
Yeah.
And then basically you would take that design. If you want to resize things, you can do. Just draw boxes around things. You make them larger, things like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that out. So we'll delete that. And then I'm just going to come over to the side there. And if I wanted the heart to be part of my design, then all I need to do is basically bring it over to the work area. I can rotate it round, swivel it round if I'm wanting to, resize it to whatever size I need it to be, so as it could work alongside that little banner that we've got there.
Oh,
and then when you're
clever.
happy with that, I could make another one of those, and I can easily just right-click it with my mouse, and I can flip that over, and then it's a case of I've got one then to put on the other end of the banner as well.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So it's the mirror image.
Bring that down. Now, before I actually put that in place, what I am going to do is start drawing boxes around things. Because when you're working on projects, you'll find that sometimes it's easy. You have to do a process called weeding, which means you're taking away the waste area to leave you with the letters when you're doing a banner. It might be that you're taking out the elements to put onto something else when you're card making, but it's called weeding, and that's kind of taking out the bits that you don't need. Now, when you're working on something for a large project, my top tip, and this is the kind of thing that I share with you when we do the classes in the course, is to draw a box with the tools around certain elements. It just makes it a little bit easier, which you'll see in a few moments. So I've just picked out draw a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm just going to drag it around the word congratulations. Okay, and you can see I've done that, and I've left it like that. So when this cuts out, it'll cut out the letters, but it'll also cut out that box. Now, I don't need the box, but it just makes it a little bit easier when we come to the next stage.
Yes,
let me just move that up so it doesn't cut into the letter of Laura's name.
So you might want just the whole message as one to peel off and stick onto something.
Yeah, but sometimes what you will find is because the vinyl is very, very sticky, especially while you're getting used to working with vinyl, then I do suggest you do draw these little boxes around things. It just
because otherwise it's going to be like hanging wallpaper for the first time when you've never done it before. Yeah,
exactly. And we've all done that.
Doomed to failure.
We've all got in a bit
Bubble
of a pickle.
City.
Exactly. So I'm just going to draw another little box around the word Lewis there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the little heart and pop that on the end like so. Again, I'm not going to bother putting a... oh yeah, I will. Since I've been doing it, I might as well. Because if I don't, I know I'll end up having a bit of a pickle with it.
So every word as well, I'm guessing I'm stating the obvious here, but every word I could have made in different fonts.
Yeah.
As well. Or every letter I could have made in different fonts.
Every letter you can break it down to as little or as much as you want. I mean, the design capabilities that you've got from this software is absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, it's definitely I don't want it to sound too scary, though. That's the trouble. Sometimes...
No, well, it's about capability, isn't it? We obviously, when you show something like this on TV, you need to talk about its capabilities. You need to talk about all the things it could possibly do. And then, in your thinking at home, you think, OK, well, this is what I will do with it. It's great to know that it can do this, that, and make the bed and all sorts of things. But you know, I want to see the super impressive things as well. I want to see how this is going to save me time and give me more impressive results.
So don't feel intimidated, because you just basically go at it at your own pace. So yes, you can do some amazing things with it, but equally so, you could cut out your card bases. You could cut out hearts or balloons. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated to start with, but then obviously you progress as time goes on. Now our banner is ready for us to cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on send, which is in the top right hand corner, and we're going to tell the machine what we're cutting out. So we're cutting out vinyl. It's actually matte vinyl that we're working with, so I'm going to click on there, and you'll see that it's kind of highlighted everything that it's going to cut out. I'm just going to increase the blade depth on this one just very slightly, because I know this blade is coming towards the end of its life. So I'm just going to increase that, and this is where you've got complete control. And again, the classes are all about learning how these different things make a difference, and it's all stuff you can find out yourself. But sometimes it's you want somebody to show you. I learn very very much quicker if somebody's showing me. And then all you do is click on send, and you can see here we've got our machine all set up there. It's ready to go. It's connected by Bluetooth. So all I need to do is just have a little check to make sure I've got my vinyl and I'm happy with that one. And then when I'm happy, I can click send and it will start working. Now, hold on. The media is too wide to be used with a specific device. Let me go back in. Have I changed? Let's have a quick look. All I need to do is, I think it must have been the settings that I put there. 22. What did I say it was?
22.9, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's make it a little bit narrower. Yeah, it's just kind of tweaking it to fit. So let's take it down to 22 centimetres. We should be okay with that. And you can just see that that's just slightly off the end there. So let's just bring it back into play there. Make sure everything's fitting on. And I'm just going to zoom in. So there's any areas that you're wanting to check to make sure that it is sitting in there. Because we're actually using it without a mat. There you go. That might have been the
Oh, it's your box
there.
went over the edge.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's one of those things that you can basically come in and tweak it, and it will make those checks for you, so you're not wasting the elements there. And then we can go to send there. We should be okay now.
So that's going to save you waste as well, isn't it, actually? Because
Exactly,
it won't let you make those mistakes, which I think is really, really good.
Right,
oh,
now,
it's going to have another moment.
It is. I'll sort it out. Don't worry. I'm just figuring out that it might be the length of it actually, so I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Yeah, you carry on, and we'll get this cutting.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, listen. You can see what it can do, and you can see what the kind of results that you can get with it. I love the fact that it will just cut so many different materials, and I love the fact that also this could end up being your livelihood that we're talking here. But when you talk about the potentials of what it can do, because we can cut out kind of gorgeous details that you can then transfer onto fabrics. Again, even for me, the capability of being able to cut out something as intricate and probably much more intricate than that, and then, you know, actually cut it out onto an adhesive medium, I think is really, really good. And again, it tackles all of those things like mirror cards and things like that and cuts in all of the details. Isn't that superb? Really, really good. And you would really, really struggle, even with some kind of like die cutting machines, to do anything on that kind of scale. Could you imagine how big the die would have to be to do that? And you can create that. And the great thing is you can scale it up and you can scale it down as well. So keeping it to, you know, sort of reasonable, you could make your mats and layers very much more interesting, couldn't you? And actually, if you think about this, that's just 2 pieces of glitter card there, one with the detail cut out, which is really, really cool, and just a little bit of decoration. Isn't it clever? Really, really clever. And of course, you can make your own stickers, and you can go from making stickers to making banners to making fridge mackets. Oh, it's off, everyone. It's off. She's done it.
Yeah, just got it set up. What you have to bear in mind as well is that when you're actually cutting with your vinyl, I'd got it set up so it was pretty much cutting right to the edge of the vinyl, but you need to have little areas that the vinyl needs to kind of pass through. So it's kind of like a frame that you're working within.
Right, okay.
And my design was a little bit outside of that. So you can see it's sprung into action now. It's cutting out. So it's going to take a little while to do this, but you can see the blade is moving back to left to right. It's basically a little tiny blade in there that's swivelling round, so actually cutting out all of those letters, and then it will draw a box around each. It's drawing a box around the first element, which is that heart, and then once it's finished, we can start taking that vinyl off and showing off our fabulous little
So how does the blade, so this is the thing that gets me though, this is the thing that I think is so clever about this. How does the blade know, right, I only need to cut through the vinyl at the top because I don't want to go through the whole thing, because that means that the end user has to then pull apart one from the other.
Exactly, makes it tricky, yeah.
How does it know all of that?
Well, there are a lot of preset elements on here. So I've actually got it set up at the moment to cut out your vinyl. Well, it could be that you were cutting out, I don't know, something that will weightier cardstock.
Yeah.
There are already pre-designed elements in there. So it's telling the machine, it's not telling me, I haven't got to do anything, telling the machine that it needs to cut at a depth of one, I think it's 1 millimetre that actually comes through it. And what that actually means is that depth of 1 means that it's only cutting through the top layer. But because I know how my machine is, and I know that this blade is one that I've been using for quite some time, I will click to make that blade just go a little bit deeper, because I know the machine. when you get to know your machine, you will understand that as well.
Yeah.
And then you've got different things like the force, so that's the amount of pressure that it's actually putting on there as it's cutting. Sometimes you need a heavier force, sometimes you need a lighter force. And then you've got kind of different elements with things like the speed as well. Sometimes you need it to be a slower speed, sometimes a faster speed. Now, what's actually happening is the roller here that we've got, the roll feed, is holding on to that vinyl for us there. Because it's on a roll, it's naturally very springy, a bit like wallpaper.
Yes.
And you can see here it's naturally rolling up on the other side, so it's keeping everything neat and tidy. It's meaning that it's flowing through and it's not catching on anything, because if you are making something from a roll and you've paid for a roll, and you might have paid a premium price, especially if it's something like your glitter vinyl or something like that, you want to make sure that you are going to get those results right and straight away. So yeah, it's merrily going along. Sounds a bit like the clangers.
It's great. Quick question from me. I mean, and I know it's a how long is a piece of string question, but obviously it's got a blade, and we know anything with a blade, eventually the blade needs replacing. But I guess we've got a good long life with this, have we?
Yeah. I mean, I cut a lot with these.
Yeah.
So every couple of months or so, I do tend to find that I need to change my blade.
Yeah.
But what I have actually started doing is using a premium blade in mine, and the premium blade actually increases your cutting life of your blade by up to 3 times. And we have got new versions of these.
Brilliant.
I'm just very quickly going to show you the original blade that I've got on here. The reason being is because I haven't got one here to show you, but the Premier blade used to look like this, and it used to sit in a little grey holder, and you used to have to turn the dial. So manually, where the little red marker is, you used to have to turn the dial on there. You'd sit it into this little housing, and it would kind of sit in your machine. Actually, I picked up the wrong one, but it was sitting in your machine.
Is that to set the depth?
Yeah. No, just to hold it.
Oh, okay,
so,
right.
yeah, it's sitting in a little holder on your machine. I've just realised as I'm looking at it, I brought the wrong one in, but not to worry.
Right.
But what they've actually done now is they've brought out 2 new blades. So this is a similar one, but a new design, because what you've actually got, you've got the flat back to this, which you've got within your portrait and you've got within your Cameo 4.
Yeah.
And from the chip that is in there, the machine can recognise which blade you've put in, and therefore determine. So rather than having to turn the dial, you kind of it will do it for you. But with these ones, it will automatically recognise that for you.
So again, like before, when you were setting your cutting parameters, it won't let you make a mistake of the wrong thing with the wrong thing.
So with something like that, you're kind of rotating it to whatever number it's saying, but you're getting to know those blades as well. So yeah, so we've got those as a newbie.
Okay, let's talk blades then, shall we? Because we've got some blades on the show as well, which is really, really good. So let's start with the 1mm ratchet blade. Now, what's the ratchet blade going to do for me?
This is where you are basically turning that round. With this one, it's a case that you will rotate it round and it will cut it up to 1mm. So you're going to use this for your regular cardstock and things. If you're working with something that's heavier weight, I mean, this is all the things that I've actually cut in that book, you could cut using this particular blade.
Oh, okay.
So you don't need to go any deeper.
And that was a real range of different materials as well. Okay. So that's a replacement. So that's more of an adjustable blade then for me.
Yeah, that's it. So you would this one doesn't automatically change to whatever settings on there.
Right.
It will give you the guidance, and then you will rotate it. It's purely because of the depth of this one, really, that you've actually got that feature that you have to put with this one.
Fantastic. 663-321 is the item number. Then £25.99. Then we move on to the 2mm ratchet blade. So. I guess the same as the 1mm, but with twice the capability because twice the depth. So that means you can go through harder and deeper materials, I guess.
That's right. Now, you can use these on your portrait if you wanted to use them on the portrait, but if you're using it on the Cameo, then you can start using it for things like your balsa wood and things like that.
Right. And I guess, does that mean it can go things through, I'm thinking thicker things like maybe cork or leather or things like that, just that have a more depth to them?
Exactly, yes.
Can this... I know we were... well, I guess it's maybe an adjustment, but could this go through something like, as long as it was on a sheet, something like felt?
Yeah, it can do. I tend to use the rotary cutter though, because the problem that you've got with that, although it's a kind of a swivel blade, it's still a solid blade. Whereas the rotary blade, which you can use on your Cameo, not on the portrait, you can use on your Cameo, and you actually cut out your felt, and I do that quite regularly. So
cool, lovely, and then we have, and these are the craft blades. These are 2mm craft blades. So is this a multi-pack of what we've already seen?
It is, yeah. So this
okay.
is a multi-pack, but this will actually need to go in the holder that then goes into your number 2 setting.
Okay, so this is the one where the machine won't necessarily detect which one is in there, but this is kind of like 2 workhorses in one.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. £25.99, which is really good. 696723. Let's carry on, shall we? Let's see what else we've got on the counter while we're here. Here is a cutting mat. Now, am I right in thinking that the cutting mat is something you can plot into the software so you can locate exactly what will happen where? Is that how this works?
Well, it kind of, yeah, it's one of those things that you do get a mat with your machine, but you will need to get these as time goes on. Sorry, this is finished now, so I'll show you this in a second.
Okay,
yeah, it's all
cool.
done. So you do get a mat within your machine when you actually get your machine home, but you will find that over time, because what you're actually doing is you're peeling that backing to reveal that sticky sheet. Now, over time, contact with your fingers, contact with your cardstock and the medium that you're working with, it can lose its tack, so it's always good to have a spare. Loads of different ways you can actually reactivate those. Sometimes people will put a little bit of tape down both sides and spray it with a low tack adhesive. Some people will say pop them into your kind of washing up bowl, bit soapy, squeezy soapy, give it a wash, and then just leave it to air dry and it reactivates it. And always make sure you are putting that layer back on top. But it is always good to have a couple of these. The reason being is when you're working on a project, especially if you're working on projects and you're doing a lot of them, as in a business, you can have one cutting out and then you're loading up your cardstock on the next one ready. So you're literally kind of rapid fire getting those through the machine.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's one that you probably, it would be great to have a second one as soon as you get it, but that will be one that over time you'll probably just be stocking up on. So maybe you've got already, you've got a silhouette and you're simply stocking up on new ones, £10.49. And then we've got, I don't think, to be honest with you, unless you're taking this somewhere, I think you're going to have so much fun with this machine. I don't think it'll ever be in here, to be honest with you. But this is absolutely brilliant because this is the specially designed silhouette tote for carrying your portrait. So your portrait goes into the bottom. It's got its own little house that sits there in the bottom, and it's got hard walls around it, or soft walls around it, but a nice little structure. So it's like almost like a designed house.
So if you're crafting at the kitchen table or the dining room table, you have to pack everything up. You can put it in here. It's almost like a portable craft room.
It's so good. And look, and even in the top, you've got loads and loads of space, loads and loads of... You've got access into pockets on the side there as well, which I think is really, really clever, just for keeping all your bits and pieces, because all the bits and pieces you will have will come in various shapes and sizes. And you see these dividers here, you can actually take those out, you can change the size of them as well, which is really, really versatile. I think that's great. And it's also got, it's got a little space at the back there as well. Oh, here it is. That's what I need to do, Derek. There you go. You've also got a bigger space there at the back if you want to as well. So again, pieces of A4 cardstock or whatever it might be, materials. You can get your rolls of vinyl in there as well. But I think it's really, really clever, just that you can adjust the spaces on those dividers. And of course, your silhouette stays well away from everything else because it's got its own space to sit in, which has got like structured walls inside it. Really, really clever. It's got a nice long handle as well. So if you are eventually, remember going out, everyone, when we can go out again and when we can go to classes and whatever, rather than signing up to the online and virtual classes, I'm sure one day, Hayley, they become physical things again. And we can come round to your house and eat your biscuits and have a class at the same time. And, of course, your silhouette will go in your bag. And actually, it's got a nice padded... Yeah, actually, it'll make a nice little overnight bag, I have to say, for me.
It's nice as well if you've got, I don't know, the die-cutting machines using it for projects. It doesn't have to be the silhouette range. And the Cameo will fit in this one as well, so the larger machine will fit in there too.
It's cool, isn't it? £34.99. Right, OK, let's go reveal this banner, shall we?
OK, well, I've already started peeling off, so one of the hearts there. So the next part that we're working on here, we've got to the lettering. So I've just kind of revealed the corner there. And this is why I say about drawing the boxes around there. It just means that you can isolate areas and work with them. But there we go, pulling this through. Now, sometimes you do need an extra pair of hands, so I usually put a pair of scissors on there, just so as I can actually pull these areas out. And this is why it's good to draw a box box around it, because it means that you're not going to kind of have that sticky falling back on itself, because of course sometimes you have to go into the nitty-gritty of the letters and pull those out as well. So there we go, so the letter G there, congratulations, as we go with that. There you go.
I could, in all of that space, I could have actually put a couple or 3 or 4 lines of much, much smaller text if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I mean, listen, you know, times are all right at the moment. You know, they've let me back in here. But if one day I need to set up as a window cleaner and buy myself a little grey van, although I'm not good with heights, so window cleaner's no good, but you get where I'm going here.
Yes.
If I have to get myself a little grey van or whatever and put my name and phone number on the side of it, for professional reasons, I should say. Well, that sounds wrong as well, doesn't it? Anyway, you know what I mean. I could actually do my own kind of sign writing, couldn't I?
You can do, yeah. And I've wasted a lot of the vinyl there. I'm pulling the area away. So this is, you'd very much be doing this in a professional capacity and selling what you're creating with these. And then obviously we've got the outside there. So what you would do is you basically take that off and, oops-a-daisy, stuck it to my finger there. You pull that away, and then what you are left with is that banner. But it's a banner that you can use, or alternatively you could be taking the elements off here, like the heart, like the letters, and actually putting them onto something else. I'm just going to put that there again to make it a little bit more manageable. Move that out the way like so.
And is that adhesive vinyl that you're using there?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could, if you've got another carrier sheet, because it's always good to keep these carrier sheets, never throw these away, because what you will find is that you could actually put this vinyl that I'm actually tearing away, which is, as I say, is very, very wasteful. You could actually put this onto another carrier sheet and use it on other projects as time goes on.
It's
So
not bad for stamp storage as well, actually.
Well, yeah.
For us paper crafters.
Yeah, good idea. But there we go, there's Laura's name being revealed there. And then as we work our way down, we've got the little ampersand there, so I'm just going to get the edge of that. I apologise for using my sewing unpicker. I went and left my craft bag at home.
Shows how useful they are, doesn't it?
I've got 3 different shows today, of different companies, so I forgot half of my stuff, but there you go. Well, my papercraft and stuff, and there you go, you can see you've got your heart again there. So again, I can just go in and I can take that outside parameter and get rid of that as well. And there you go, you can see we have created an incredible banner. I just need to take out the inside bits of those letters.
Yeah.
And yeah, there we go, it's all done.
Isn't it clever?
Congratulations.
And it's brilliant, isn't it? And I know that's an extreme. That's taking the capabilities of the machine to the extreme, but it's good to show you the possibilities, because when you're investing, you know, over £200 on a machine like this, you want to know that it's got those future-proof capabilities. You want to know that, as well as the pre-installed options in terms of images and logos and fonts and things like that, that it's future-proof, that you can actually design yourself this as well. Remember, this has the Gold Star warranty included as well, which covers us for up to, how long did you say, Hayley?
The Gold Star warranty is basically that you can basically send it back. The period of time it's for, I'm not too sure actually. Is it 3 years? Oh, there you go.
3 years. So I guess the standard warranty would probably be the standard 12 months warranty. Yeah. So this extends it by another 2 years, which is really, really good. And basically that means that if you do have an issue with it, it would actually be repaired within... Did you say within
48 hours? I think it is,
So
yes,
if they can't repair, if it's something more complicated, they will have an equivalent machine with you within 48 hours to keep you...
I need to say working hours as well, because obviously it doesn't include the weekend, because they're not there.
Of course. That's still very, very good, though, isn't it? Really, really good. I mean, if, for instance, if your washing machine broke down tomorrow, you think, and if it stopped completely, you think, what do I do? And you think, well, I could be without that washing machine for weeks, or I'm waiting for somebody to come around, and then they might need a part, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Whereas here, you've got a promise for 3 years that you will have a working machine, one way or the other, whether it's your machine fixed or whether it's an equivalent machine delivered back to you within 2 days for a period of 3 years. Now, that's really, really good. That's kind of like, you know, a lot of people buy their electricals at a certain retailer because you know that you can literally, any time within the first, 2 years, I think, with I'm going to say other stores are available. You know, you buy your big, electricals from John Lewis, don't you? Because I know other stores are available. I know, absolutely not knocking anyone. But you go there because you know you could literally walk back in with the machine and say, I need a new one, please. Thank you very much. And there's no quibble. They just sort it out straight away. It's the equivalent of that kind of service, isn't it? Do I have to name other stores as well now? Curry's, PC World, Marks and Spencer's, Argos, Hochanda. Yeah, we don't do washing machines yet, though. I was thinking of that kind of thing. Well, that's true, actually. Never say never.
That's it.
Never say never. Let's make a hobby out of washing. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Anyway, right.
OK, how about us making a pop-up card to go with our banner to congratulate
brilliant.
the happy couple. So I'm just trimming down my cardstock because I'm working with my portrait and I've only got my 12 by 12 cardstock with me at the moment. So I've just trimmed that down so that's going to fit. So we're going to go to the software. Now, this is something that I did run through briefly on a week ago when we had Make It Monday on Facebook. Again, Silhouette UK. You can still go back and watch it. So if you do want to watch this again, you can do. But it's taking you through one of the features that you've actually got within the software, which is your pop-up feature. And your pop-up feature, down the side here, you've kind of got a little icon there. Let me just go into my settings and I'm just going to see if I can make the display a little bit bigger for you to actually see those buttons. Let's slide that over there. OK. Right, so there we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? You can see now. So if I come down with these, well, actually I've made it that big now. I don't know how to get to the one that I want him to get. So I'm going to make it slightly smaller. That's what you call on the job training. So let's make it just a little bit smaller so as you can see them. There we go, that should be OK. There, perfect. So I can't see if there was a little arrow, but it was like a pop out, but not to worry. Anyway. This one that we need there, where you can see like a little pop-up heart there. When you hover over it, it will tell you it's the pop-up panel. So we're going to work with that. But at the moment, it's not active because we haven't got anything for it to pop up, if that makes sense.
OK, right, so you need to add an element first, do you?
Yes,
right.
yeah. So the first thing that we need to do is make our card base, or our inside of our card. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, and you can make that to whatever size you like. So let's make it a nice, easy size so as we can kind of divide it. So we'll say 21, and we'll make it the same width as it is at the moment because it doesn't really matter about the width. What I need to do then is decide what I'm going to bring in as my pop-up. So let's go in and find a little heart. And we could use potentially the heart that we used earlier on if we wanted to. That's not a problem at all. So we'll bring that in. Let me just turn that like so. And then let me just move that over to the side there. Oh, let's group those because we need those to sit together as well. So let me just move my card out. So this is the design that we're going to make a pop-up to work with. So let's take that out. Delete that out. And then to make this, we just need to kind of resize it so it's roughly the right size to fit in the insert that's going to sit on the inside of our card. What we also need to do is make a horizontal line so as we can line this all up. So I'm just very quickly going to draw a line across. We will actually take this off at a later stage. But if I just leave that, move that out of the way, and I'm just going to, this is very rapid fire. As I say, go back on the social media Facebook page and you'll see how it comes together. So that's now sitting at the halfway point. Now, our little heart here, I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to turn that into a pop-up. So I'm going to click on it, and you'll see over here that has activated this window now. So I'm going to convert that, turn it into a pop-up, and you'll see how it will change. So it's got these little connector bits. So if I zoom in, you'll be able to see it's got these connectors and there's these little blue dots. Now that is where it's going to perforate and make the little lines to actually make our card into a pop-up. And then the red lines are where it's actually going to cut. So I'm going to zoom back out again, because what you need to do, in fact, let's go in a little bit closer. You've got a horizontal line here, and that line needs to marry up with that horizontal line that we just created, but you also just click on the little circles at the end and you drag those out to make sure that it's basically sitting on the centre point of your card. Let's just pull that out there and then click on that. I'm going to drag it down, and then all I'm going to do is click on that little circle there and drag it out to the side so it goes to the edge of your card. This one here, drag it out to the edge of your card again, and then all I'm going to do is take away the solid line that was there originally. So I might need to zoom in and get right in close, because you've got the little red line that we created to start with. take that out, and then basically what we've got here is we've created our own pop-up insert. I'm going to load it up on the mat and get it cutting. Whether we'll manage to get it cut, I don't know, but it shows you that it will basically create your own pop-ups from whatever you like.
That's very clever, isn't it? So clever. Now listen, there's a good fair few of you with one of these machines in your basket right now. I have to say, when you've got the option of the courses as well, which are round at Hayley's virtually as well, they're amazing value for money. When you think you've got the Gold Star warranty with the machine as well, so I guess you've got advice there directly from the company. There are resources online.
Fabulous company to work with, lots of support.
Brilliant. Plus, of course, I'll give you Hayley's number if you need it as well. That's not a problem. It's 07. No, I won't do it yet. I'll do it later. But you've got the Gold Star support there, so any issues within the first 3 years, they will basically repair or replace with an equivalent machine within 48 hours for the period of 3 years, which is brilliant. And even if you're taking this on Flexi, the saving you're making is the equivalent to one of the Flexis on this as well, which is really good. So it's £71.66 on your first of 3 Flexis there, and that means you get the machine home straight away, so you can start playing around with it. You can go to the extremes if you want to. Should we just show you the extreme again as well? Because we've got to go, haven't we? Oh, sorry, you try and do 6 things at the same time. We'll just say, happy birthday, Derek, all over again, even though it's not my birthday until November. There you go. How's your heart coming on?
It's not too bad. It started cutting out the perforation. It's going to take a little while to do it, but what I'll do is I'll let it carry on cutting, and then I'll pop a picture up on the social media page so you can see it.
We will. Thank you, Hayley. We'll be back together in an hour's time, won't we? We're busy, us two, today, let me tell you. If you've got this in your basket, please do check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Now, next, you've got the most incredible, delightful, gorgeous Shape Use Hour. And then I'll be back with Hayley in an hour's time with the one-day special. And Graphic 45 later, too. Don't move.
Hi there, my name's Leona. I'm a presenter, a guest and a crafter here at Hochanda. I got into crafting years ago. I've been crafting since I was a child, and I absolutely love it. I love my job. I love the presenting side because I get to meet loads of really inspirational people, and that's just the beauty of this. There's always something new to learn. There's always something that you want to get into. It's fabulous. My Let Leona Loose show on Hochanda is also fantastic. It's my weekly highlight. I get to work with loads of really cool brands, loads of fantastic products, and again, I'm always learning. And I do get loads of wonderful viewers getting in touch as well, which is obviously a highlight of our job. I hope you can join me on my Let Leona Loose shows every Wednesday, 11 AM and 2 PM.
Exciting news! For the 5th year in a row, Hochanda has been awarded the top accolade of Platinum Trusted Service Award from Feefo. These awards recognise businesses that deliver exceptional experiences as rated by you, our customers, and we're honoured to have been selected. The Trusted Service Award means you can shop with confidence, based on the reviews from over 60,000 Hochanda customer experiences. Thank you for your independent reviews. It means a lot to us.
Hi, I'm Pat.
And Mark.
From Totally Patched. We're a family-based business here in Shropshire. We've been established for about 20 years.
All of our kits come pre-cut, meaning all the fabric is cut for the actual people who want to make the items, whether they be